There we go.
Yay's Twitter.
You twit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to look up some information. And it's not like it's one of those ones where you just want to read the thing, but it's like, no, watch this video. No, I can read. Let me fucking read. Jesus. I know how, and I enjoy reading actually quite a bit. So can I just read now? Ex- Exactly. Yeah. That's one of the ones that really annoys the shit out of me because it's like I just wanted to read the article. Like, can't I just do that? I mean, I don't understand. I'd understand if this was Playboy because nobody reads the articles there, but I'm actually trying to read the article here. God damn it. You and like 2% of everybody that reads it. Yeah. Yeah. Getting real awkward here all of a sudden. Mm, true. Apparently. Hmm. We'll find you. will find you, and I will something. Yeah. And I will do something. Yeah. I'm gonna do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Allow me some French fried taters. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, are they the giant thick steak fries, or what are we talking about here? Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Did you did you throw it like at them? Be like, fuck you, give me another. Mm-hmm. Right. Nice. And dumb, but nice. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Justice. Ooh. Oh well. Probably probably not.
This is what I have instead of coffee.
Let's hear it.
Got any Bactine?
Hi, Mater.
Mumsy.
Been a while.
Has been a little bit.
Um, I don't know because I have the Twitch stream muted. So,
Okay. Well, it should be good now. I think I had to reset up my mic for some reason. That's weird. Whatever. Um, anyway, we're all good now. It's December 3rd. I'm Dan, since you probably missed what I said. Yeah. So tonight I'm smoking a Punch Signature, the fucking Andrew edition, gigantic one.
I'm not sure if I should be flattered or frightened that you named like the giant cigars after me.
Yeah, we're getting rid of like fucking what do they call them, Gigantes or whatever. We're just calling them
Yeah.
the Andrew edition. This is the Andrew Vitola.
Right.
When you've got 3 hours you need to kill.
I mean, if you got 3 hours and not a whole lot of money, there you go.
Yeah, I mean honestly,
Get that
though, dude, $8 and you get like a super like well-made premium cigar for 3 hours. Like I've never had one of these last less than 2.5 hours, even when they're kind of dried out. Because
Right.
the local cigarette shop that has a walk-in humidor
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't know how to use a humidor sells these.
Yeah.
They had them buy 3 get 1 free, so I got 4 of them for like $27.
Right.
Yeah, I was super happy about that. I'm probably going to do that again tomorrow because it's like all December. And I was like, fuck yeah. So I'll do that and maybe order some smokes. And hopefully that'll last me like probably a month or two.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I've slowed down on cigars, fortunately. I'm smoking like 1, maybe 2 a day occasionally.
Yeah, pretty much the weekends is when I load up on those for right now. I did place an order, but I'm not going to get it till tomorrow. So in the meantime, I did pick up some smokes, but I've only got 1 left, and I think I'm probably going to save it for later tonight. So
Did they update your shipping info, by the way? I was curious.
well, it's USPS, and like I really don't like the way their tracking website works. It doesn't really seem to tell me much. And plus, that's the other thing that's weird is normally when I've ordered stuff from, because I order from JR Cigars,
Yeah.
normally it's like it ships out UPS and gets to the post office, and then the post office delivers it to my house,
Right.
which usually, I order it, before noon on a Thursday. It gets here by Saturday. Well, this time around, I'm looking, and it's like, I understand it's December. I understand Christmas gifts and shit, but it's still like the first week of December. Like, they can't be that fucking backed up.
Well, that's what I was
already.
thinking too. Like, I've seen a bunch of people like order your, Christmas gift in the next 3 days and get it
Right.
by Christmas. And I'm like, bitch, it's like a month away.
I don't know. It's only like been 4 days, like 3 days, really, but
Like
4 days.
the longest regular like cheap shipping option is usually like 8 to 10 days at the absolute most.
Mm-hmm.
And that's well before Christmas.
Yeah, and like this year, at least thus far, there's been no real snow or anything around here yet. So it's like, I understood like a couple years ago when we had blizzards and shit where everything was delayed, but and that's the other thing that pissed me off too when I put in my order. It's like I was looking for promo codes to save myself a little bit of money, and they had one for Cigar Dojo because I used to use one of theirs regularly, and they had a good one that was like 25% off. And I went to use it, and then I realized, oh shit, it only works on Black Friday. Well, fuck you too.
Yeah, I tried to use a couple of different cigar codes when I went to order some stuff last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up not ordering because like every code that I used to use stopped working. And then on Famous, they restricted like every brand. I went
Right.
and looked at the list, and it was just like the list of cigars that they sell.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you could have just said this doesn't work anymore. It would have been easier.
Right. Well, it's like, let's see. As entertaining as this is going to be, this is the entirety of the tracking information I have.
Yes.
November 30th, shipping label created. Okay, that's Burlington, North Carolina. Fine.
Is that where
November
the coat
30.
factory's at?
The what factory?
The coat factory?
Oh, probably. I don't know. I don't pay that much attention to fucking coat factories.
Burlington
let's
Coat
see.
Factory.
Yeah, I'm aware. I've never shopped there. I don't give a fuck. Okay. Let's see. November 30th, again, accepted USPS Origin facility. Origin. November 30th, 2017, arrived at USPS Regional. That's in Greensboro. Then again, November 30th, departed Greensboro Distribution Center. In transit on its way to Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46807. Fine. Arrived at USPS in Indianapolis December 1st. Okay. December 2nd, arrived at Regional Destination Facility, Fort Wayne Distribution Center. December 2nd, in transit to destination, on its way to Fort Wayne, Indiana. December 3rd, in transit, on its way to Fort Wayne, Indiana. December 3rd,
Jesus.
arrived at Hub, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Your item arrived at Hub at 2:57 p.m. on December 3rd, 46809. So I'm like, what the fuck does that like? It says on its way to my zip code. I'm thinking it's like gonna be here. So the fuck is it? And it's like arrived at Hub. Well, why didn't it say it was going to the Hub at 46809?
Yeah, that's why I don't like the thing where they transfer it from UPS to USPS, because in the time they could have delivered it to your house, instead they just drop it all off at the post office and say, deal with this.
Yeah, but unlike this particular time, that works a lot better because this is all USPS. There's no UPS at all.
Oh, okay.
This
That's
is all just the post office itself. Yeah, that is very weird because I was like, wait a minute. Normally it's UPS picks it up, drops it off with them, and then they go, then it, goes from the post office to my house.
I never have
and I get it by
trouble
Saturday.
I never have trouble with UPS. It's always with fucking USPS. As soon as they get it, it's like, fuck, we lost it. I don't know. They handed it to us and it disintegrated. The building's on fire. We're sorry. You're never getting anything.
Right.
Also, before I forget, I was gonna say I'm smoking. I'm drinking a Tropic Hero, from Galaxy, or who is it? Revolution Brewing. And I have a fucking super cool koozie from Revolution Brewing I got at Comic-Con that I use for every beer, and it all has a superhero with a hop head on it.
Yes, I did like their brand of those. Actually, I just haven't picked up like their big
It's kind of pricey.
sampler thing.
It's like $20 with tax.
Yeah,
and I feel like the beer is good, but I think the the single hop varieties that Founders does, like the Azaka is the current one. Those are like $14 before tax, and you get 15 beers instead of 12.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just a better beer and it's better money for it. But this stuff is good. Like, it's nice because you get a variety of single hop beers, which is interesting. So this is my favorite one out of the box. The Amarillo Hero is the other good one in there. And then there's like Crystal, and I don't remember what the other hop variety is in there. But it's got the Nazi looking character on it.
Nice.
I always forget the name of it.
You're talking about the Revolution one?
Yeah, it's Revolution, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it's not Nazi. I'd say it's more Cuban looking, but yeah.
Oh, it always looks like a Nazi soldier to me, like an Inquisitor.
Nice. Just because the hop head thing, yeah.
It's like the world's darkest D&D game. What class are you? Nazi Inquisitor. Next question.
Wait, what?
Next question.
I guess I don't have to ask what alignment you are anyway. We can skip that question.
Yeah, I think we just filled out your whole character sheet. Get out. It looks like, it says right here, you lost.
There was actually somebody posted something in like a forum or whatever for the Vampire the Masquerade game, and somebody was like, what do you think a character sheet would look like for Kane, the father of vampires? And somebody took a character sheet and just printed in like the big open area, like for where you'd put like notes or whatever. They just put "you die" like in big fucking bold letters. It's like game over, man. Game over.
Zero, what are you smoking tonight? This is a much more interesting question to ask you than usual.
I mean, not that much really. I have my corncob pipe and the last of my tobacco at the moment, which I think is supposed to be vanilla flavored, but I don't know. It just tastes like tobacco.
It's tobacco flavored.
It's tobacco.
Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, no, that's it for me.
I would really like to play a D&D game built around the Elder Scrolls universe. I think that would be fantastic.
I've had a few people tell me that, and I've thought about going and making a rules book for it. There's just so much involved.
We should do that and just give it away for free and become popular and do other things after that.
There's a little group that did that for Fallout way back, which I think is still pretty widely used, but I know they have one on the internet for Fallout.
I've been thinking about playing Fallout again now that I have a little bit more time on my hands, like just spending like an hour a day in it or something.
Good luck just spending an hour in it.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I think initially, like to just get started, that's probably easy for me. Like I might spend like 2 or 3 hours the first play session just to kind of get things going. But I always struggle to play long stretches of Fallout because I always finish one quest and I'm like, God, that took forever. This seems like a good place to stop. But I have a feeling like if it catches me, like Fallout 3 did the first time, it'll take me a while and then I'll finally get hooked on it and I'll end up playing long stretches. But I always get like through one mission and I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop. And that's why I just never got super deep in New Vegas or 4.
Yeah, well, I still like that meme where it's like, let me just investigate this building right before bed. 3 hours later.
That's how it always ends up with me. The game keeps you so busy. Like, as soon as you finish one thing, you've got 3 other things immediately to do. And you're like, well, let me go just turn this in and turn this. I just want me to go talk to this guy? All right, I guess I'll go do that real quick.
See, I have this thing like chronic fucking procrastination where I'm like, that's too much work. I'm done.
That's usually how I end up stopping a character, period. Like, I'll get to like level 30 something and be like, everything I have left is going to take forever. I don't feel like doing it. I'm done.
Well, that's usually how I end up stopping that game entirely. Is like, that sounds like a lot of work. I'm not doing that.
Right. I don't know. Like, I oddly enough, it's like I'm thinking about it too, but on the other hand, it's like I'm kind of wanting to go through these, like, the Fudge Muppet guy on YouTube. Like, he's got the whole playlist of all the Fallout 4 builds that they've made. And it's like I'm trying to find. I want to find one that's unique to play, but isn't something that I don't want to play like a completely immorally bankrupt character or whatever. But I don't necessarily want to play like the Minuteman thing because I don't have time for fucking settlements. I just want to go. I just fucking want to go do some shit. So, like, I'm trying to find some unique stuff or something that might be interesting to play that isn't a complete asshole, Which is tough because they have a few new... Actually, it's funny, they made a build here based on that Oxhorn guy I was talking about. So, like, Oxhorn has his own build on Fudge Muppet now called The Beard.
Nice.
Yeah, which I was like, that's kind of interesting. But they've got different ones. Like, they've got this one they just uploaded. It's like the Outlaw Brute Revolver. So basically, he walks around in like heavy metal armor and a revolver, and like has like his VATs cranked up to 11. It's like he just clears out a room with a revolver, no big deal. It's like I like it, except like the way that they've like done the backstory. Like, granted, I'm sure you could probably just eschew that, but I kind of like to try to play the build as it was intended, So, like, that one there sounded interesting, and then it's like, no, he's kind of a douchebag. So, don't want to play a douchebag, but I don't want to play, like, something weird. I don't know. Like, I'm just looking through a bunch of them. Like, actually, before we started recording, I was watching one that they did for their brawler build, which he uses no guns at all. He's just all fists. I'm like, that could be interesting. But it's like I want to know like what factions and stuff he would join and shit like that just to get an idea of what he's supposed to be like. I did like the idea in the backstory because I got that far into it before we started recording where they were talking about like his father, I guess, was from China and taught him how to fight. So I'm like, cool. It's kind of like fucking Legend of Kung Fu, but in Fallout. His dad taught him everything he knew. It's like this could be interesting. Plus the like video they show of the guy running around just punching the shit out of fools is kind of cool. Like, especially when he does like this like wrestling move where he like grabs their legs and flips them on the ground and starts punching them in the head. It's like, yes, I want more of that.
I mean, you could always do like a mischievous character, so that way you can still do fucked up stuff, but just not necessarily evil. Yeah,
well, they've got a few weird builds. Like, they've got one that's they got like a slaver build. They've got a Child of Adam build, which that sounds kind of interesting, but I don't know how that works because for some reason, every time I've played the game, every time you run across the Children of Adam, they just automatically want to kill you. Like, I haven't even done anything yet. Like, I'm just wandering around. Like, I haven't really even aligned with anybody. Like, why are you trying to kill me?
Yeah.
So I do know from a recent playthrough, there's a bunch of Children of Adam in the that
Glowing
radiation sea, glowing sea thing.
Yeah.
They won't attack you immediately.
Yeah, those ones won't, but I'm saying, like, when you're just wandering around in the wasteland, even when they're fighting somebody else, it's like, oh, hey, guys, let's go. Oh, shit!
Hey,
You know?
continue the Fallout discussion for a minute. I got to go take care of something real quick.
right.
I'll be right back.
I mean, if he has to piss, he can just say he has to piss. Anyway, but
I
yeah,
don't
like,
know if there's like a reputation system, but I'm thinking maybe if you get in good with them, they won't all attack you. But I don't know. I've never really tried something like that before.
well, that's the thing that's weird about 4 is I think, like, there's your main factions, and then there's, like, the Children of Adam and stuff. They're not really a main faction, so I don't think they have a reputation system set on them. They're just, like, people you happen to run into in the wasteland, and for some reason they're like, yeah, we're not going to bother trying to make you get in good with them, because who's going to do that? It's like some people that want to do something interesting, maybe? But they've got a bunch of different builds on Fudge Muppet. It's 62 videos total. So, I mean, there's something for everybody there. And some of them I kind of like, but yeah, I'm just looking through them and it's like, I kind of want to play it again, but I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm kind of thinking about hopping back into Skyrim again, but I don't know if I want to do that. But on the other hand, I don't know. I'm still debating what I want to do, but it's kind of timely that we started talking about that again. Because I'm going back through looking at all of Fudge Muppet stuff. Like the Brawler guy looks interesting. They've got a Mechanist, like a robot engineer build, mechanic build. Sounds interesting. They have a doctor build who's a surgeon. I'm like, that could be interesting. They have one on here that I watched before that I was thinking about, but then I realized it relied heavily on power armor. And it's like, I don't want a character that relies on fucking power armor. Like, unless I'm doing Brotherhood of Steel, and then it just makes sense. But they had like a shotgun surgeon, like beast shotgun build, but it's like, but he wears power armor. It's like, that's kind of like, isn't that kind of like cheating? I don't know.
I mean, kind of.
They have like the Rocketeer, which is a Nuka Girl build, which I'm like, that could be interesting. You get that Nuka Girl, Nuka World outfit.
I still have no idea what any of that stuff looks like. I need to start it eventually.
Yeah, I haven't actually played through it, but I've seen a few videos and like pictures and stuff. It's pretty cool looking. Yeah, and they have like a Stalker build. That's what they call a glass cannon challenging build, because apparently it's like all you have is a knife, no defense to speak of, and basically just all damage. And I'm like, that could be interesting too. They have an Atom Cat, which I'm like, that's cool that they have an Atom Cat build. The only problem I have is you don't find the Atom Cats in that game until way later unless you cheat and like teleport to them, because they're like all the way over on the edge of the map.
I don't know what an Atom Cat is.
They're a bunch of greasers that are holed up in like a garage on the edge of the map, and basically like, you know, imagine greasers with cars. Well, they're greasers with power armor. So they have like, you know, souped up special like painted power armor. That's where you get the like Flying Tiger, like shark paint job for the power armor. If you've ever seen pictures of that, you can get that from the Atom Cats, because they have like a little couple of quests or whatever you can do with them, and then you get in with them. But it's kind of like more of a side mission than anything else. They're not really a faction or anything, but it's still kind of, I thought that's kind of cool. But
yeah, I kind of want to do that. That sounds dope.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty cool. It's a pretty cool faction and everything. It's just one of those, like, unless you really go out of your way to find them, like, you probably may never even run into them in the game at all.
Yeah, I haven't yet.
Yeah, so. But they've got a build, like, here geared straight towards that. They've apparently got a Viking build, which I'm kind of curious about that. Like, if you want to get your Skyrim and your Fallout. Elder Scrolls and your Fallout.
See, I've been doing some more Skyrim because I have it on the Switch now. But I can't aim for anything with those tiny joysticks, so I'm just going complete warrior.
Right.
This is way easier. Just fucking smash everything in front of me, whatever.
Yeah, but they have like a horror Halloween build, which I'm like, that's cool, but basically you're just a slasher in a horror movie, and I'm like, how exactly is that going to impact the story if you're trying to play through the story? Like,
Murder everyone.
yeah, basically, like I just murder the Atom Cats, murder the Children of Adam, murder the Brotherhood of Steel, murder the Institute. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Shit, I might do that build.
That might be fun. I know the picture, like the armor that they put together for him looks pretty dope, but like I don't know about playing him. I do like the idea of the chemist that they have as like a chem dealer build. I'm like, that's kind of an interesting idea, like being all about the chem dealing. It's like I'm gonna be Scarface in Fallout. That sounds interesting. They've got a few different interesting ones, so I'm just kind of going through and watching them a little bit. The one thing I do like too about his builds is that their builds, I guess, because it's more the one guy that narrates it or whatever, but they have timestamps in the description. So if you want to just go straight to certain parts of it, like the perk levels and the end game stats and all that stuff, like if you just want to get to those parts, you can skip right ahead to those times. I'm like, that's nice, especially if it's a build video or something like you might have watched before. That way you can just skip through all that and get to the details that you need.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've kind of looked at builds on YouTube like that before, where you can just skip ahead to the parts you need.
Yeah, I've looked at a few different ones, but I mean, honestly, to me, like Fudge Muppet, I think comes up with the best ones because like all of them have a backstory. All of them have like certain factions they will or won't join for whatever reasons, and then they go into pretty good detail about like what gear you should have, what stats you should have, and they basically lay it all out for you, what companions you should have, and all that kind of stuff. What points you should use the special book for, stuff like that. So I just think they do a really good job of fleshing everything out for you if you're trying to find something to play where you don't necessarily have to think, well, should I put points in this or that or whatever? No, just follow the blueprint. You're good.
What are we blueprinting?
I was just talking about those Fudge Muppet builds I was looking at because he's got a lot. He's got a lot of interesting ones. Like I was talking about the chemist build is kind of interesting. It's like a chem dealer, and I was like, yeah, be Scarface and Fallout. Why not?
Nice. One of the problems I always had with builds in Fallout is the scarcity of ammo and like parts.
Yeah.
It seemed like I would always try to play like, oh, I'm just going to use this type of gun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd be like, well, but I don't have any ammo, so I'm going to use this pistol that I always find ammo for instead.
Well, like I said, there's
I always immediately level up the perks that let you find more ammo everywhere. Because if you get like 2 levels in that at the beginning of the game, you just get so much ammo you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've got enough. Like, you should look at some of them, Dan, and see if any of them ring true to you. Because there's so many different ones. Like they have a thief build, which is kind of neat. They've got like. Where is it here? I just saw it a second ago. They've got if you want to be the Joker, they've got a Joker like maniac anarchist build.
Nice.
There you go, Zach. Right up your alley. And then they've got a preacher build if you actually want to play a preacher. And I thought about doing that because there's that preacher outfit in the game you can get. And I was like, that would be kind of interesting, but I don't like the way they have him set up because I'm thinking like that whole like preacher, like the comic, like where he's kind of lost his faith and all that kind of shit, like playing it more from that angle. This is more like trying to play an actual preacher stuck in the middle of this fucked up world kind of thing, trying to be good. It's like, I'd rather have like that fallen preacher that's like questioning his faith and shit. That would make more sense to me. But
yeah.
But they've got a scavenger build, which I think would be right up your alley for what you're talking about, Dan. The Tinkerer. It's like the ultimate scavenger build. So she's obviously like all about building stuff and armor and tweaking armor and weapons and everything else. So that'd probably be what you'd look for in that idea of like making sure you have plenty of ammo and whatnot.
Yeah, I always kind of wanted to play through the game just always using power armor as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I realize that would be OP as fuck, but I kind of don't care because like I never felt like the engagements in that game were like super like difficult. It was always just like, well, do they have guns that are gonna kill me instantly, or is this monster gonna one-shot me, or am I just gonna shoot everybody or punch them to death or whatever I do and it's fine anyway?
Yeah. I mean,
It becomes a lot more necessary later in the game. I usually don't use my power armor before level 20 or so. And then once I finally do go get to my power armor, I have so many power cores I can just stay in it forever.
yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with like, I don't know, like I just always like I like the power armor and it's cool, although the whole like fusion core mechanic thing gets a little annoying after a while.
Yeah.
Unless you cheat around it, but like
that's what I would probably do because I hate things like that where it's just like do this unnecessary thing over and over so you can keep doing the thing you want to do. Like,
yeah,
because you could just let me do it.
Right. I mean, I get the idea because, I mean, to make it a little more realistic, I mean, obviously there would have to be a power source for the armor, but it is just kind of annoying to have to run around the map looking for those the whole time.
Yeah, like maybe don't make it run out like every 10 minutes or whatever it is. Like,
right.
You know, these things are supposed to be like military grade hardware. Like, what were they doing with them?
Well, I mean, considering the majority of them you find in the game are powering buildings and they're still running. But you throw them in a power armor, you throw them in a suit of power armor, and they run out, like you said, in like 15 minutes. Like, okay, it's been powering this building that nobody's been in for 200 years, but I throw it in my power armor, and all of a sudden it's gone like that. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, am I just the unluckiest motherfucker in the history of mankind, and every power core is about to die?
Right. I'm like, yeah. And then, of course, you see the guys with the power armors that use the Gatling lasers. Which, guess what the ammo for those are?
Right.
Like, that's fucking stupid. Like, why doesn't it use, like, a shit ton of fusion cores like all the other laser weapons? Nope, we're just going to shove a fusion core in there. Okay, good idea.
Yeah. Let's use this explosive device as ammunition. Like, no, that is a bomb, sir.
Essentially, yeah. It's like you might as well just throw the gun at them and it'll watch it explode. But yeah, I put the link to the playlist for all of the Fallout 4 builds if you want to check those out. They've got some pretty good Skyrim builds as well. I'm kind of tempted to check out some of those. They do have theirs actually broken down between the special edition and the regular Skyrim. So, you know, depending upon which one you're playing, you know, you can find a build for either one.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Like, I do want to check out Fallout 4 again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really anxious to kind of dig into some of that story and just kind of experience it. I very well may use like some sort of cheat or something just so I don't have to deal with like inventory issues or ammunition or whatever. Like,
I mean, I will honestly say that I do use a few like batch files for mine. Just because, like you said, there's certain things like having enough fusion cores and things like that I just like to have. Especially like I like having all of the crafting materials. Especially if I'm playing like the Minuteman build or something where I'm going to be doing settlements, I want to have all the crafting materials so I can build all the shit. You don't want to spend
like 3 hours just like going around clicking on things.
Yeah, I don't want to spend 3 hours farming fucking adhesive and shit.
Yeah, this isn't Minecraft, for fuck's sake.
Right, and then I have one. I've got one batch file here that basically maximizes all my companions' affinity. Okay. So I don't have to worry about impressing them or pissing them off because I gave drugs to Mama Murphy again. You know, like shit like that I just don't really want to have to deal with, and I think is kind of pointless.
Right.
So like there's a few like, and there's ones that gives me like meds, like all the, you know, what do you call it, the stim packs and whatnot, just so I have some, because, you know, stim packs are life.
I just want to be a space marine from StarCraft in that game.
I mean,
there probably is a mod for that. Just give me the stim packs and let me run really fast and then take damage when I use the stim pack and just have an obnoxiously large gun. It'll be fine. Also, I need to smoke cigars in my spacesuit.
I was going to say, there actually is, yep, there it is, the Crusader. That's yours. That build right there is exactly what you're looking for then, Dan. In that playlist that I just gave you, there's one called the Crusader Space Marine build. There you go. Okay. Right there for you. Warhammer 40K right there for you.
Well, I'm not looking for 40K. I'm looking for StarCraft.
Well, there you go. Space Marine, Warcraft, or Warhammer, I mean, yeah.
It's all the same shit. Right?
So apparently somebody did make, like, they remade the StarCraft Brood War intro in Fallout 4.
That has to be pretty dope.
That looks cool. I'm going to turn the sound off of this, but it's like 3.5 minutes.
I was going to say, speaking of which, that there was a video that came across my Facebook this morning. For those of you that have listened or whatever, you know I'm a huge fan of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Somebody remade the Club Confession map from that game into Killing Floor 2.
Oh,
and
nice.
it actually looks really fucking good. They even expanded it, so it's got like a basement underground area. Because I'm looking at this and I'm going, I don't remember that being in the game. And then I got to the end credits of it, and I was like, oh, okay, they expanded it. Okay, I was gonna say I don't remember that shit being in the game. And then apparently they also had one part of the map that was a tribute to Blade, the whole blood shower thing.
Mm-hmm.
Blood Club thing from the beginning of Blades. They have a level like that where it's got the blood shower and the music and everything. I'm like, that's awesome. It's like I almost wish I had Killing Floor 2, although I don't have anyone else that would play it with me. So what's the point?
Yeah,
but
I did try that game out. I very much did not like it.
But I gotta
think I
say,
have the first one, and it's all right.
Also, there's like a minute of cigar smoking standing on a spaceship in this like intro, and I kind of love it.
there you go. But yeah, no. As soon as you said the whole like StarCraft like thing, it's like the Crusader. That makes sense. I remember they had one that was kind of geared towards that sort of like Warhammer.
The StarCraft Space Marine is considerably weaker than the Space Marine from Warhammer 40k.
Right.
The Space Marine from StarCraft is basically like just your generic expendable like soldier in space.
Right.
That's usually a prisoner.
I mean, essentially, they're basically what you're supposed to see in Starship Troopers if you actually read the book.
Yes. Yeah, they're exactly like Starship Troopers Marines, but their armor just looks slightly cooler.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's like, okay, yeah, your thin metal armor is not going to help you against the like 10,000-pound praying mantis monster.
Right. Yeah, 10,000-pound praying mantis monsters don't sound good.
Yeah, not good.
Damn zerglings. Let me let the cat in
I was
real
going to say,
quick.
do I
shall
hear
return.
a cat or is somebody's chair squeaky?
No, Tesla dumbass. Like, I come out here and I close the door. Well, I come out here, I stand at the door for 5 minutes like, come on. Are you going to go back inside? No? Okay, fine. You're stuck out here with me till you get pissed off. So, yeah, let me go let him in real quick.
You're stuck out here until you don't want to be. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Feel like we should get this sound clip. This is the sound of Welcome Back to Andrew.
What sound? What? Oh, the beer? Okay.
Cracked a beer. So how was your week, Zero?
I mostly worked, hung out with Butters and Matt a bunch, but other than that, I didn't do a whole lot. I was going to go out and do some stuff yesterday, and then I ended up pulling my back, so I've spent most of the weekend just lying down.
That sucks.
Yeah, I did get to go see Coco, which I thought that movie was going to be a lot funnier than it actually was.
I thought it was going to be about Joey Diaz, and I was like, this is going to be some fucked up shit. Like, when do they get to the armed kidnapping?
My whole thing with that, though, is like, I'm looking at it and I'm going, didn't they make Book of Life like 2 or 3 years ago? Like, I feel like I've seen this movie before.
Yeah, I was like, I started to think about like the Pixar version of Joey Diaz's life, because like his nickname is Coco.
Yeah.
And he was apparently like invited to the premiere, so like everybody that likes Joey was like, oh, is this about Joey? Because there's like pictures of him and his daughter at the premiere and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, that's going to be real awkward with the whole him finding his mom dead on the floor while he's on acid bit. Like,
right.
That's going to be an awkward Pixar animation. but I guess it's not that movie, and I'm kind of disappointed about it.
I mean, hey, eventually one day, maybe. You never know.
Right. That probably will happen now. Everybody's like, yeah, we want that. Zero. Andrew, how was your week?
I mean, it was a week. It's pretty weird because it's that after holiday lull, so we had a lot of shorter nights.
Yeah.
So, my check's probably going to suck when it comes in next time. But the check this week, actually, I thought was going to suck because right up until the holiday, I was having a lot of early nights. But we also got our incentive bonus, so it kind of helped out. So it kind of helped out a little bit.
That's cool.
It's part of the reason why I was able to order cigars.
Now you'll have time to smoke those cigars.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I smoke them anyway, but, like I'll have one in the morning with my coffee and whatnot, and then I'll have one on the way to work, and then I might have one on the way back, and that's it,
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have half of one on the way back
What
home.
did you
and then
order,
I'll
by
finish
the
it.
way? Little Fincas?
Yeah, more of the La Fincas, just because, like, I can't really beat that deal because it's 91 cigars. Like, that'll last me at least a month.
I've been trying to wait for those to go on sale, and, like, I looked
Yeah.
around on Black Friday, and they didn't have it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, even with them giving you free shipping on orders, like, their deals on all the websites still were not worth ordering. I was like, I'll just wait.
That's why I would have did that Cigar Dojo one if I'd have known about it, but I didn't really have the money then either. So it's like, well,
Same. I
whatever.
was broke on Black Friday. I had like $40.
Yep, me too. So I was like, whatever. And then I was like, well, I did find one code that gave me like 15% off. So I mean, 115 down to 105. I mean, that's still something. So
Yeah, I think the one that I usually used on Famous was like 17, but then they like 17%, but then they like put restrictions on it. There used to be one cigar that I would order. Like it was the Punch Signatures or like something that I would order that would like get me over the limit so I could use the coupon.
Right.
And then it would apply it to everything. And they apparently fixed that bug, which was a bug, I guess. Where they just changed it. So now like you have to order like some obscure like house brand if you actually want to use the Reddit code or whatever it was I was using. So that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But I'll probably wait and order some of those La Fincas here and get another ammo can. I like the digital cigars better than the regular ones. I'm not sure if they're actually that different.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one I ordered. I think I ordered the green box that looks like the digital one, but it's just the regular, like normal OD green.
Yeah.
I think I ordered those ones this time because I've got a couple of digital boxes, and then I got a bunch of the old school, metal ones. And then I know I had a couple of the plastic ones, but I gave them to my girls for, like, crayon boxes. Like, here, put your crayons in here, which would be pretty fucking awesome. But of course, they broke the fucking lids off, and
Titus ripped the lid right off of them.
And they don't ever put their damn crayons away anyway, so I don't know why I wasted my time, but whatever.
we use a lot of regular cigar boxes like the Chillin' Moose and the Punch Signatures to elevate our Christmas houses for decorations on top of our kitchen cabinets so you can see them above the edge.
Oh, yeah,
like the cigar boxes are the perfect height of the like rim of the cupboards.
Right.
So we just put those up there and it works out pretty well.
Yeah, that's part of what I'm trying to figure out. Is like, what am I gonna do with all these ammo cans, man? I don't have enough ammo for them because I don't really have any guns at all. But
well, and they're not really very high quality. They're pretty cheap.
No.
Like my 3-year-old ripped the lid off within like 10 minutes.
Well, the plastic ones, no, but I mean, like the other, like the wooden ones aren't so bad. Like the digital one, and then like I said, I've got I've got the old school metal ones too, so like I could probably keep some real ammo in there. I just have to get rid of the cedar planks.
Actually,
but
I have a bunch of ammo sitting around. I actually should probably put it in one of those.
There you go.
I have 3 boxes of shotgun shells and a couple of cases of 22 sitting around.
Yeah, you may want to put those in there before Titus tries to eat one.
Well, I mean, they're like in cabinets, like locked up, like you can't get to them. But I should probably put them in a container again.
Well, I was joking because he said just laying around. I'm just imagining Titus
Right.
being like, "Oh, hey,
It's
look,
just
nom, nom, nom,
bullets,
nom."
just bullets on the floor. It's fine.
They'll live.
I mean, to be fair, when I was like, I don't know, probably like 8 or 9, we used to take 22 rounds and put a nail in a vise,
Oh God, no.
and we would set off the 22 rounds by hitting a nail into the primer with a hammer. Yeah. And we would also shoot bullets with other bullets. I mean, like, I grew up in the country. Like, I didn't have like a big city upbringing, so we would like go fuck around in the woods and like set up bullets on, you know, tree stumps in like divots that we chopped out with an axe and shoot the bullet that would shoot into another thing, but usually just explode. We're lucky we never shot each other, basically, is what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, you know, yeah, you are, but that's what happens, I guess.
We would play like naval warfare where we'd go out in like canoes and shoot Roman candles at each other and like bottle rockets and like chuck like bricks of firecrackers into each other's canoes and try to tip, you know, the other person over by making them like freak out or whatever. But we were all like, yeah, fuck it, we're not going in the water, I don't care.
Well, I was gonna say, we did the land version of that once with some friends of mine because I had this big like privacy fence at my dad's house, and I had like a sandbox and a swing set fort deal.
Yeah.
And the neighbors from the house behind us had bottle rockets. We had bottle rockets, so we were like shooting bottle rockets over the fence at each other. So it was like artillery warfare. It was the land version of naval warfare.
We used to have rock fights too, where we would literally like throw rocks at each other from like, you know, kind of like forts that you would play on.
Right.
Until I hit one of my kind of friends, like a kid I didn't really like. I actually was trying to hurt him. Like usually, you know, you're just kind of fucking around like chucking them, but I was like, no, fuck that kid. And I hit him in the eye with a rock, and we had to stop doing that.
Nice.
I didn't like injure his eye or anything, but you know, like you get hit with a rock around the eye and you're like, yeah, okay, maybe we'll stop.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I know, Dan, you and I can relate. Like, you know, you wear your glasses, everything's cool till somebody knocks them off and like, all right, motherfucker.
Yeah, game over. Yeah, I like actually, that was the cause of like the only real fight I got in. Well, it wasn't really a fight. The only real confrontation I got into in high school. A kid purposely knocked my glasses off, and I picked him up by the throat and threw him down a flight of stairs.
Well,
so it wasn't really a fight. It was more of me throwing him down a flight of stairs.
Right.
But yeah, that was the only time. Like, that is kind of the only thing that pissed me, like, that was able to make me go like 0 to 100 ever. So yeah,
you sound like, it reminds me of my kids. It's like, you know, I was 100 pissed off.
Brought to you by BuzzFeed.
That's what my daughter was saying, because I was asking her, like, tonight was, we went to some friends of ours' house. Mainly it was to play Cards Against Humanity, but I didn't really get to play because I had to go pick up Samantha. But we went over there and we were, you know, they were playing that, and then I got back and we, you know, eventually started heading home, and I was like, so did you have a good time over there? And then all of a sudden she was like, you know, she's like, I had 100 good time. And I was like, okay, well, that's about as good as you're going to get, I guess. I didn't know that you could measure good times in like percentages, but sure, I guess. I only had 50% of a good time.
I mean, yeah. I think if I quantify that in my head, I would be like, I had a great time for the first hour, and then I ran into Bob, and fuck Bob. So 50% of the time afterwards until I left, it sucked because Bob.
Well, okay, yeah. If you want to get all mathematician on it, yeah.
I mean, at this point, we might as well just start making spreadsheets and pie charts about our day.
Right.
Maybe a Venn diagram. It seems important to have one of those.
So if you look, starting from here to here, it was up pretty high, but then it dipped for a little bit for about 3 hours.
My enjoyment levels went down by about 17 points.
Got to pump those numbers up.
Nice.
It's a rookie number, son. So one of our friends tagged us in this Overwatch post on Reddit, and it's very long, and I want to read all of it, but I'm not going to try to do that right now because I would be sitting here for like 20 minutes.
Okay, then.
But basically, they're saying what we've known all along, where Blizzard makes bullshit up and matchmakes you with terrible people on purpose, is apparently the crux of this post. And posted in broken English, as most things of importance are on the internet.
Right?
Anyway, I guess I should mention my week was kind of fucked up. I ended up leaving my job on Black Friday. I can't really say too much about the whole circumstance in detail because of pending lawsuits. But needless to say, I'm talking to a lawyer that's already got 4 lawsuits against this company for similar issues that are wage related. But essentially, I was given an ultimatum to sign some documents and keep my mouth shut and keep my job for a week, they said. If you sign these gag orders, you can have your job for 1 more week. And I said, no, thank you. And they said, okay, well, we're going to have to fire you. And I said, okay, I guess you have to fire me then because I'm not signing that. So needless to say, I'm looking for a job again. I have an interview tomorrow or Tuesday at a cigar shop in Chicago called Blue Havana. They need a brand ambassador, somebody to basically promote their business and manage their online presence. So I'm going to talk to them, and hopefully it's like mostly online, remote. It's a part-time position. It's not a full-time position, at least not right now.
Right.
So hopefully that's something I can do mostly from home, maybe go there 1 day a week or something, which might be doable based on what they're paying. So I'll find out more about that on Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, I don't think I'll be unemployed for very long. I have quite a few leads on jobs and some pretty solid sounding options. So it'll all work out fine. And then also I was being paid as a salaried employee and I didn't meet the salary requirements. So I have to file paperwork with the government, and then within a couple of weeks the government will go in and say, hey, you have to pay this and take it from the business.
Right.
But basically, if a company pays you salary and you don't qualify, they're required to pay you up to $6,000 of overtime wages for hours that you worked over 40 hours a week the entire time you were employed there. And it's just automatic. Like they don't get to fight it or argue it.
Right.
Because generally it's pretty clear, like, oh yeah, you were paying this person the exact same amount of money every week. And they had me listed as salary and as working 45 hours a week minimum. So they can't really, dispute it.
Yeah.
So that's good news. At least that'll keep us going for a little while, until I can get a paycheck coming in again.
Yeah. Gainful employment. Yeah.
Yes. Because I'm not sure I qualify for unemployment, unfortunately. I'll find out as well this week, but, they ended up paying me for an additional week. I don't know why, because they were like, hey, we'll let you keep your job for a week if you sign this. And I was like, well, okay, I'm not signing that, but you can pay me. And they were like, yeah, we're going to pay you anyway. I was like, fine. I'm not going to argue. And then like the next week, 3 days later, I start getting texts from the managers at the restaurants like, hey, we need you to do this and that and this. I was like, that's not how it works when you fire someone. Like, you don't get to keep telling them to do things. That's really not how this works. I don't think you understand. And one of them was like, oh, we're paying you so that you're compliant for this additional week during the transition. And I was like, no, that's not at all how that works.
Right.
If anything, this is considered severance, and you don't have to do anything to keep it.
Right.
So basically, they couldn't believe that I didn't take their deal. They were like, I can't believe you're not going to do this. Why wouldn't you do this? It makes no sense. Apparently, they just wanted me to stay around for another week to give them all the passwords and everything. And I was like, no, like, go fuck yourself.
That's what I would have did.
Yeah, I was just like, why would I do that? That benefits me not at all.
Right.
And they were just like, well, I don't understand why you wouldn't do it. And I'm like, you don't understand how anything works, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, somebody doesn't do something you want, and that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like, sorry about your luck. You know, I'll let my lawyer tell you how the world works, I guess.
Right.
So that's kind of shitty and bad timing. I also found out that my mom has what they're calling pre-cancer cells, which you can read into that as much as you want. Like, don't go to WebMD, I guess, is the moral of the story on that one.
Well, I mean, considering like we were dealing with, you know, my wife's mom, my mother-in-law, and all that shit. I mean, like, yeah, we kind of already know where it's headed, sort of, I guess. So yeah,
but they were already going to have to do a complete hysterectomy,
right?
So it didn't really change anything. They were like, so we're just going to do what we were going to do anyway, but we're going to do it slightly sooner, like a week.
Okay, then.
I'm not sure what difference that week makes, but maybe that should be scary.
Right.
So she's going to have surgery on January 9th, I want to say, January 7th or 9th.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'll be unable to really do anything for about 6 weeks, and then unable to do anything strenuous for like 6 months. Because they're literally like cutting out her lady parts.
Yeah.
The internal ones.
Mm-hmm.
Which should have been done like 30 years ago.
Right.
Like, right after I was born. Because I was never supposed to happen. And it almost killed her like 3 times. So yeah, they're finally doing that. And she's not happy about it. And it's bad timing because it's like, hey, so you're not going to be able to make any money for like half a year. So that's kind of a bummer. But, you know, we'll make it through.
Yeah.
And then finally, my cousin Frankie moved back to Indiana from Florida. He is my cousin that I've talked about a few times that has cerebral palsy. And he's like pretty normal. Like, he's not like, you know, it's not Timmy from South Park. You know, he just doesn't walk super well, and his mind doesn't grow at the same rate as everybody else. So he just seems a lot younger than he is, but
right.
You know, still seems like an adult. So, I love hanging out with him. He's like one of my favorite people on the planet. So I'm excited to hang out with him, and we got to go see him in his new house today. And they're 3 dogs. I don't know why they have 3 dogs, but it's too many. So yeah, super excited about that. That was the highlight of the week. And then we took Titus to Pioneerland today. They had like their Christmas thing where you could go and see like the schoolhouse and all the decorations, like old-timey style. So that was pretty cool. And then they also had like the regular candy shop open because money, I guess. Like, let's bring all the kids here for this. And now go buy candy after you wait for an hour in line to see Santa.
Right.
But we didn't wait in line to see Santa because there's another one that we like to go to better. And it's free. And there's never a line. So it's actually Santa. We go to the North Pole.
Right.
But yeah, that was pretty cool. Had a good time. Found out Titus likes popcorn.
Well, there you go.
Yep. So there's that. But yeah, that's pretty much been my week, playing a lot of video games with my time. Obviously looking for jobs, but like that's one of those things where it's like, well, I spent an hour applying for jobs today, and now I'll wait until a bunch of new ones are posted. So yeah. Also, we'll get more into this in video games, but Zero was kind enough to gift me Rocket League, and I've been mildly obsessed with that.
Fun game.
It is. It reminds me of the old school games where you just play to have fun. You're not like, it's not like Overwatch where you're like grinding out loot boxes, or like you kind of are because you're getting parts and stuff for your car, but you kind of just play the game and you're like, I had a good time doing that. You're not really, you know, it's not World of Warcraft and you're trying to progress through something or see the story content. It's just like, yeah, fucking drive some cars and hit some balls, play some car ball.
Well, not only that, but as far as getting parts for your car, you get them after every game, whether you win or lose anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
It's kind of like Destiny, except the parts are usually good.
Yes.
I was going to say, well, you guys were, I don't know if it was both of you guys jointly putting money together or what, but I know, like, you guys gifted me Destiny 2, so rock on. Now we can all play that instead of Overwatch, because I'm getting the sense that you guys are pretty much done with that, at least for a while anyway.
I mean, I'm kind of trying to chill on it a little bit before the holiday event, at least. There's not a whole lot I want out of the game right now. And I'm not super happy with the state of the game. So I was like, I kind of want to just say I'm never playing this again and uninstall it. But it's not a bad game. It's just poorly balanced right now. And I've had some connection issues, which doesn't help. So I was like, I'm just going to take a step back from Overwatch for now and then probably come back to it a little more around the holidays.
Right.
I played like another 4 hours of it today, I think. So I'm still enjoying it plenty.
Yeah. So entertainment, before we get super balls deep in this, because I have a lot of video game stuff to talk about.
Right.
Did you guys watch anything? Or listen to anything?
Well, I'm going to go out and just say right off the bat, yes, I'm a bad person, but I still haven't watched Punisher yet. Been kind of busy with shit.
I don't know that you're a bad person. I'm just a little bit shocked you didn't like fucking get balls deep in that shit right away.
I really wanted to, but lately I've been busy with a lot of other shit going on that involves me not being home. So it's like, and then during the week, you know, I'm working and shit. So it's like I could watch a couple episodes and go to work, but most of the time when I'm awake lately, it's just I have enough attention or whatever and coffee to like sit and watch YouTube videos and then be like, all right, I need to go do laundry or, you know, do dishes or do something else to be productive before I go to work, you know?
Right.
So it's like, it's just not something I just haven't really been able to do yet. You know, I will eventually, but
and I will say,
I don't know when that will be.
I was surprised and kind of pleasantly surprised that it's not one of those shows where you can just throw on and it's exciting and just background noise. It's like a really, really fucking story heavy, like acting heavy drama punctuated with probably the most extreme violence on Netflix. Yeah, it was like the end of it, I will say, it's not really a spoiler, but the end of that show has probably one of the most violent things I've ever seen in a TV show.
Right.
Or movie for that matter. And I'm glad it wasn't just like 13 episodes of that, because I don't think I would have wanted 13 episodes of that. I was just like, that was brutal, and fuck yeah, the Punisher is a badass. But he definitely is way more human in this series than he's ever been before on any screen.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, is like you're trying to distill, you know, X amount of years of comic book stuff into like, you know, a 2-hour movie. It's kind of hard to do. That's why when they announced doing the TV show after the Daredevil thing, I was like, this is a good idea, because I did like some of the film versions. Like, I still really like the Dolph Lundgren version, because I think that one was the closest, at least in my mind, to like the 80s, 90s, you know, version of the Punisher. The Thomas Jane one was okay, but like I still just couldn't quite buy him as the Punisher. Like he looked like somebody trying to pretend to be the Punisher, like it was an imposter. And then you got to Warzone with Ray Stevenson, and Ray Stevenson was the closest to the more like 2000s, like Marvel Max,
I feel like that was the
hardcore.
best Punisher we could have gotten at that period of time.
Yeah, and it was the closest to the comic books that were coming out at the time, or at least up until that point. Because like some of the stuff they actually took for that movie actually came straight out of the comics, and they did a really good job with it. But yeah, like trying to distill the Punisher into like 2 hours is is a little tough. Whereas I like the idea of introducing him with Daredevil, because I mean, first of all, when he came out in the comics to begin with, he was introduced in Spider-Man to begin with. So like introducing him through Daredevil makes sense, especially because those two have opposing philosophies about, you know, crime and justice and whatever. So it's nice to have him start out there, and then you get into the actual TV show, and then that will be like, okay, here's who he is, here's how things are being dealt with now, you know, post all of the stuff we've seen so far. And that's the part I'm curious to see where he went, you know, where he goes from where we left off with him and Daredevil. So, and plus the idea that they're introducing Micro, which was a character from the comics that, you know, normally he's portrayed as like your typical fat, like nerdy guy. And it's like they went with like the skinny, like weird, neurotic guy. And I'm like, okay, this could be interesting. Let's check this out. Let's see this new interpretation.
Well, and I feel like the whole view of like the tech genius has totally changed in recent times to where it's more you're more likely to see the super nerd like Silicon Valley guy portrayed as a hipster than you are to see them portrayed as, you know, the Hot Pockets kid.
Right. And that's the other thing too, is you know, like you said, technology has changed, but I always looked at Micro as a character being not just necessarily a computer or a tech genius, but he was also like, you know, to me, he was kind of more along the lines of like Q, like in the James Bond flicks. Like, here's your guns. I put this new sight on here. I did this, this, and that. Also, while you were at it, I got this thumb drive with some shit on it you might want to look at. You know, like he kind of did it all for Punisher. He was kind of like his quartermaster guy, like giving him what he needed, whether it be tech stuff, whether it be, you know, munitions, whatever. Like he kind of did it all. And it's like this could be an interesting take on it, especially nowadays, because with technology being where it is, like, I mean, yeah, sure, he might still be somebody in a basement, but like you said, he's probably more of a hipster guy. Like he probably does go out and has a beer or whatever on occasion. Like he's not just, you know, the guy that lives in mommy's basement, you know, and you know, how do you kill that which has no life type thing.
With Mountain Dew. That's too much of a good thing.
Right. So, you know, I mean, I'm very anxious to see the show. I just haven't really had the chance to sit down and watch it yet. So I keep seeing it pop up on my Netflix. But as far as what I've actually been able to watch, yeah, my wife gets annoyed at this, but my documentary love, I did find one on Netflix called Let It Fall. And it's basically about the LA riots during the 90s, but it basically takes everything that happened from about 1982 or 3 all the way up till about 1992 or 3, like right around when the riots happened and when they were over. Because the way it frames it actually makes sense, because it's like, okay, here's where the match was lit. Here's where stuff started getting really hot. And here's where the fucking thing blew up in everybody's face. You know, it's kind of like, here's, you know, it gives you...
When you said the match was lit, I was like, esports?
No, not lit, like lit, brah.
Yeah, no, I got there. It just took me a second.
No, I'm trying to go with the analogy of a powder keg. Like, you lit the match, all right, now it's getting really warm in here, now it's exploding. Not like, match was lit, brah. Solid, man.
I like that that's where my brain goes, though. I know I'm doing well. It's like a mental health update for you there.
I mean, it's unique. Nobody else has gone there that I know of. Normally when I say, like, you know, things like that.
The match was lit. Oh, really? Who was playing? What?
That would be black people and the LAPD. Those are the teams you had. Let's not forget the Koreans too, because that was part of it I never really got as much of. Because like as a kid, I grew up during that time. Like the year before my mother passed away, so I was going over to my friend's house next door, and it's that's the thing that's on TV every day. So it's like, I constantly absorbed all that.
What's
but
on
like
TV? Oh, they're beating black people again. That's the time where we grew up, folks. Just for reference. Hence
why I don't understand why people are thinking Nazis are cool again. Like, the fuck? Like, we just went, like... God damn it. You know what? Turn around. With the evolutionary poster, where it's like the guy, and then he crawls up, and caveman and us. It's like, all right, fuck it. Turn around. We fucked up. We got to go back.
Start over.
God damn it, start it all over again. But yeah, no, but it's actually a really good documentary that interviews pretty much everybody for the most part possible outside of those who have subsequently died, or like the chief of police guy who was fucking such a douchebag. I'm glad they didn't actually get him for an interview, because they've played enough clips of interviews that he's given since then, and it's like, God, this guy's a fucking douche. Like there was one interview they played a clip where it was like him and Tom Brokaw. Like Tom Brokaw was interviewing him, and he was like,
"You're a douche."
I wish he'd have said that, but he didn't say that. But what he did was he asked him. He was like, "So do you think it was appropriate for you to be at a political fundraiser when these riots were taking place?" And he's like, "Man, I'm so sick of that. Like, I wish people would quit bringing it up." Like, really, dude?
I bet you do.
I bet you do. Well, if you weren't an asshole, Yeah, it's a really good documentary though, if you want to like kind of see things progress. Like I love the idea that they started like in the 80s, because like me being a kid during the time, I figured like, oh, this just happened overnight. No, there's shit that built up. There was one that they talked about that I didn't even know anything about till I watched it, because I didn't realize, like I knew it was like African Americans and the LAPD, like that was the majority of it. Or at least that's the majority of it that I saw, but I didn't realize it had to do with the Korean community there too. Like, right. I didn't realize there was shit going on there too, because that's not most of the coverage that I saw. So then I'm watching it, and they were talking about there was a black girl that went to like because basically it was like a liquor store / convenience store. So like they walked in to get an orange juice, and instead of holding it out or setting it on the counter and then paying, for whatever reason they were in a hurry, so they just grabbed it and like tucked it into their book bag. Right. Like it was sticking out so you could see it, but they just tucked it into their book bag, and then they were getting ready to pay for it, and the woman fucking flipped out. Like the Korean woman behind the counter that ran the store was fucking flipping out, talking about like, you're stealing. It's like, no, it's right here. Here's the money. Right. And basically it escalated to the point where she punched her. She punched the Korean lady, and then the Korean lady pulled out a gun and shot her in the back of the head while she was leaving. So it's like, well, I can understand why people are pissed off now, and then, that's like an incident that I had no knowledge of until I watched it. So it kind of like, okay, now there's a bigger picture going on here,
It's always those little side things that happen as a result that fuel those bigger issues.
Right. But it was even more messed up because during riots, first of all, as we know, Korean men are always in the they always end up in the military, because as soon as they hit like 18, bam, you're in the military. You do service, whether you want to or not, doesn't matter. Everybody's drafted.
Right.
So they have military training, and obviously with this being America, we got guns everywhere, so they've got guns. So as soon as shit kicked off, there's guys on the roof of businesses and, everything else. And there was one kid who was like the brother of somebody that owned like one of the businesses there. He went out, of course, to try to, basically like get justice or, protect his family's business or whatever. And he ended up getting shot by his own Korean people that were out there.
Yeah, that's a very popular part of that. That's one of the things that's always brought up because it's so iconic.
Well, it is, but it's like, again, like, I don't know, maybe I was like sheltered or I was busy thinking about something else. But again, it's another one of those incidents that I didn't have any clue about. because all I knew about was like Rodney King got beat, Reginald Denny got beat, and then shit went fucking haywire. Like that was pretty much the whole incident as far as I could remember at the time that I got. Now it's like, okay, I've got it way more fleshed out, so it's like I get it. It still sucks, but like I kind of get where it's coming from now.
Right.
And I get that there was other stuff that happened, not just the one incident or the one thing here. It was a bunch of things that just built to the point where, it's like playing a game of Jenga. Finally, somebody grabbed the wrong fucking piece.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then beat it to death, or near to death anyway.
Beat someone to death with it.
Right. So, yeah, it was pretty interesting because, like, I got that, and then, like, I remember watching old Bill Hicks like stand-up comedy, and he had a whole bit about like look at these look at all of these like cops just walking into the courtroom. They've got their balls in a fucking wheelbarrow. Like excuse me, big balls coming through because you've got it's like all right, so Officer Officer Nigger Hater, Officer keep Darky down, and Officer Coon.
Yeah,
like,
just it's
like,
so
you guys
irritating to me that racism was a fucking thing, and like God, it makes me so fucking angry.
It makes me angry. I do understand it to a degree.
Yeah,
like,
people are fucking shitty. Like,
yeah,
it's so goddamn irritating.
Mm-hmm. And, that's kind of like I said before, I think on one of our earlier podcasts, is it's like the thing that makes me mad is because I know that humanity could reach fucking epic heights if they really wanted to, but they let stupid shit like race, creed, color, religion, politics, whatever the fuck, just drag them the fuck down. They can't get over the shit. Like, I love history, I really do, but again, it's history. It's fucking back there. We're here now. So I don't give a shit what your ancestors did 200, 300, 400 years ago. I don't give a shit what they did 2 days ago. Like you're moving this way, they're back there. Let's fucking move forward and get over this stupid shit so that we can finally reach the heights that we need to be at. But, until such a time, unfortunately, I'm going to be here with my beer going, I hope shit doesn't get any worse.
As you say that, we've now deployed stealth bombers to Korea.
Of course.
And that shitty tax bill made it through the Senate.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like, it's kind of sad because it's like, as much as we don't want to be political, it's like now everybody's kind of being made to be that way just because it's like, shit, how can you ignore this stupidity? Not to mention the fact that like, oh, I'm not going to play Wolfenstein 2 because it beats up Nazis. The fuck were you playing the original Wolfenstein?
Why else are you playing that game?
Like, it's kind of like, I don't understand where the whole thing of like, it's not okay to punch not what the fuck is going on?
If there's anyone it's ever okay to punch, it's Nazis, and all the time.
I was going to say Nazis and KKK guys, let's punch them all the time. Granted, I'm in the wrong fucking state to be saying that about the KKK, but whatever. That's why one of my we were talking about this actually over the weekend. Somebody was talking about like Indiana's so conservative and all this stuff, and they were acting like it was they were surprised about it. I was like, dude, in the 1920s, the KKK used to march up and down Indianapolis like fucking main streets. Yeah. In parades, and it was okay. Nobody said shit. Nobody did anything to them. It's like, I mean, yeah, that may have been, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever years ago, but
it wasn't okay then either. There were just more of them and less smart people.
Yeah, now it's supposed to be flipped the other direction, but even then, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, we got the khakis and polo fuckers over here. Like, can you put your fucking masks on, please? Some of you look better with them on.
Yeah, don't catch your head on fire with your fucking Walmart tiki torch.
No, please
Home
do.
Depot or whatever.
Please do. I always wanted to see what Ghost Rider would look like up close and personal. I want to watch this shit. But no, it's like, yeah, I don't know. We're in a very weird place. But getting back to entertainment, I guess.
Yeah, we went real fucking off the beaten path there.
Yeah, but I mean, in general, like it's a really good documentary, especially if you want to, like I said, kind of like I did, like get more of the real story of what was going on and what kind of led up to that particular incident.
You're aware of
get,
the Mind Hunters series on Netflix, right, Andrew?
I am. I have been wanting to check it out because I
that
keep
sounds
getting
like your jam right there.
I was going to say I keep getting this feeling it would be right up my alley one way or another. There's that, and there's all. I'm kind of intrigued by the that Dark series that just came out, because like I was looking at some stuff online and somebody said it was kind of like a more adult version of Stranger Things, you know, and it kind of fills that sort of void if you're really hankering for some more Stranger Things. I was like, I might have to check it out if that's the endorsement. You know what I mean? Like, I might have to check that out and see what a more adult, modern version of it is. Even though I'm a little hesitant because, like, I watched some of the Beyond Stranger Things stuff, and I liked what the Duffer Brothers said. Is like the part of the reason they said it in the '80s was because it relies on the fact that not everybody could be gotten a hold of readily, you know, like, and they didn't have to do that stupid trope of, oh, I don't get a cell phone signal, you know, it's just so stupidly lame.
They went with, we don't have cell phones.
Right. We don't have fucking cell phones. So like when Hopper goes down into the fucking tunnel by himself, which, duh, you dumbass, why are you going down there by yourself, you idiot? Buddy system.
You know, while I do find cell phones to be incredible, I am a little upset that we're in an era that doesn't, you know, have readily accessible burger phones. I'm not sure this trade was, you know, really in our favor.
See, now all of a sudden the scene from fucking Dragnet pops into my head. Have you seen the Tom Hanks, Dan Aykroyd Dragnet movie, you guys?
Yeah. I had to think about that a minute, but yeah.
Yeah, where you see, he's sitting there and he's like, he just got done having sex with his girlfriend who's like a motorcycle cop, and she's leaving and getting dressed, and he leans over and gets the phone out, and it's like, it's Dan Aykroyd's, like, he's supposed to be Joe Friday's kid. It's like his grandmother calling him. It's like, no, his mom had him there before 8 o'clock, you know? Like,
yep.
But he's got the fucking burger phone. It's like, oh, I want a burger phone so bad.
Yep.
Even though I don't have a landline, so it'd be completely useless. Although, if you go to Spirit Halloween for the Stranger Things, they actually have a like old school phone like receiver that you can plug into your cell phone and use. I was like, I'm almost tempted to do that because my wife a while back was talking about, like, I was trying to do something and talk to her on the phone, and she was like, just put it on your shoulder. I'm like, cell phones don't work like this.
Just put it on your shoulder.
They don't work.
Balance it on there? What do you expect here?
They don't work like that, and I have enough trouble with my cheek going too close to the touchscreen and fucking ending the damn call when I'm in the middle of talking.
Yeah, that's how my wife usually hangs up on me.
Mm-hmm. I end up doing that to
That's how she usually does the hanging up with me.
But that's how I end up doing that sometimes. So it's like I'd rather just have that receiver so I can do that. Be like, oh yeah, old school.
We've had legit conversations about don't mash the phone into your face while you talk into it. Like, am I teaching a child how to use a phone? Like, you don't have to jam it into your ear. It's not an earbud.
Well, I kind of do because I'm a little bit deaf, and it's like depending upon which ear I'm using. And also, I have to, like, especially with the Samsung, because the actual ear receiver's at the top, I have to position it into my ear. Oh.
This doesn't remind you of key.
I didn't know what you I didn't know what you were doing with that.
It's not how you open doors.
Jerk me off.
Okay, well.
This isn't how keys work. You don't just jam them in the general direction of the lock and hope it opens.
He was just saying this isn't how keys work. You just jam them into the opening.
I guess I never knew. Never learned.
Like a drunk guy trying to open his car door, stumbling out of the bar, just fucking scratching the paint up around the door.
I hope you're not seriously thinking of driving that home. Nope. We actually just got done rewatching Hot Fuzz like last week too, because I ended up putting it on while we were washing dishes and making breakfast and stuff. It's like we were talking about watching it again. I was like, it's on Netflix. Bam.
Yep.
Although I'm still highly pissed off that The World's End is not on there. Like, it's been what,
that
many
movie
years?
Way more than the general public, I think.
You and me.
That was a great movie.
You and me both, because I was like, for one, it flips the roles, because normally Simon Pegg plays the straight man, and then Nick
Right.
Frost is the weird loser slacker guy. And it's like they completely flipped those roles, and it was really well done.
Turns
And then
out they
you
can
got-
both be losers.
Right. although Simon Pegg goes pretty dark with it after a while when you get to the point where it's like he tried to commit suicide once. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. I really enjoyed that movie so much, though. I would love to watch it again because honestly, I have not seen it since I saw it in theaters.
Yeah,
It's like me
I
and Angela
watched
went
it-
to go see it in the theater.
I
Same.
watched it on DVD when it came out once.
Mhm.
Um,
I mean, especially the ending part, because like he's like, but you said, he's like, of course I know what I fucking said. It's like, I'm fucking drunk, leave me alone.
yes.
Like, yeah, and then just like the whole it's definitely a really good cap to the whole Cornetto trilogy thing.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I mean, literally, it is the world's end. Like the world is ending. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing now. I mean, it's literally Fallout, but it's like the British version, where funny shit happened first. But yeah, I wish I could watch that movie again. But everywhere I go, it's like, well, you got to pay for it. No, motherfucker. Like, why is it not on? Hot Fuzz is on fucking Netflix. Like, why can't? Why? I don't understand. Like, why is... I understand Hot Fuzz is the best one of the three for most people, but I really like Shaun of the Dead. I liked Hot Fuzz. I like World's End. Why can't you put all three of them on there, and I can fucking marathon them, Because I would really like to do that, because I haven't seen Shaun of the Dead in fucking years. I actually downloaded, like, a torrent version of it to watch it the first time. Deep cuts, man. Deep cuts.
Yeah, I just watched Ace Ventura 2 with Titus.
Mm-hmm.
Half of it yesterday and the other half today, actually. And I forgot how funny that fucking movie is. Like, you definitely have to be in the right frame of mind to enjoy those jokes.
Well, I mean, that's the only thing that kind of, to me, that's kind of sad about it is the fact that the reason why Jim Carrey doesn't do sequels much is because that movie kind of like soured the whole idea, because like he played the same character twice, and then it's like it didn't do very well box office wise or whatever. And then after that, on top of that, obviously he wanted to try to branch out and do more, real acting type gigs.
Also, I think I have a family member that basically modeled their life after Ace Ventura. Like, I watched it, and I'm like, Jesus, this is just... that's fucking him. Like, I'm related to this guy.
Well, people were asking, to kind of somewhat backtrack into my week. This weekend we went to the sex club again.
The sex club. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people would be interested in joining if they if that was just like, what'd you do? I had to go to the sex club like it was the gym or something.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, I could tell you the name of it, but there's a whole bunch of stuff people would have to go
Well,
through. in order
it doesn't
to get there, but-
apply to
Right.
the general listener, so it's fine.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, those that may be interested, there you go. But I went there this weekend, and we were talking about, we were standing outside, and we were talking about, like, I was standing outside smoking because I was like, well, I'm here. I just had dinner. I'm going to stand outside and smoke a little bit, especially because it gets really fucking hot in that building sometimes. So it's like, I'll go outside where it's like, 30, 40 degrees and I can see my breath, but I can smoke a cigar and be chill. I just have to make sure I get a small one. Otherwise, I'm out there all fucking night. And it's like, I miss everything. But I was standing outside talking with all these people, and even my wife's like, how do you know these people? Like, I hang out with the smokers. Like, they come out there and smoke with me. Like, that's how I know these people. The people from wandering around in the building. I know
You
the
know
people
the
out
people
there.
that stay in the building.
Yeah, the people in there. I know the people outside. We work out that way. But yeah, just knowing in general, like, the weekend was pretty crazy. We had we have our girlfriend come up, which, yeah, I know, really weird concept, but I'm married. She has a boyfriend. We have a girlfriend. Whatever. Anyway, she came up. She actually made us dinner last night, which was interesting. She made really good fucking ribs in the oven. I was like, yeah, go for it. You know, and they were actually, I still have one left. I don't know who's going to eat it first. I'm
You
pretty
have
sure
one
we'll have
rib.
To, yeah.
I feel like that is a gross misuse of a rack of ribs.
Well, I ate about 3 or 4. Angela ate about 3 or 4. She ate about 3 or 4, and then Wednesday ate 3.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a
So we
growing
pretty
kid
much
right
killed.
there.
Well, you know, shit. She's like, Wednesday's my garbage disposal. She'll eat anything. Samantha, on the other hand, you know, is the picky one. So, you know, she wouldn't have ate anything, especially because we had potato salad and green beans. Like we had the ribs and everything else. So yeah, but she ate 2 ribs because I gave her 2, and then she's like, I want another rib. I'm like, okay. Did you eat your green beans? No, eat those first. Okay, I'm done. God damn it, I just sat down. Like, can I friggin' eat my food? No, okay, fine. Let's go get you another rib. So there's like 1 left. I have an odd feeling Angela might beat me to it, but we'll see. But yeah, she did a really good job of doing that. She went out last night. All kinds of weird shit has been happening lately, you know, with like couples and stuff there. But yeah, good times.
Interesting. I'm always fascinated by this because it's like looking into another world for me where I'm just like, what is this? People do this?
Love you too.
Speak of the devil.
Shenanigans at the club the last 2 days.
I
So
know,
Devil.
I figured.
I just like hearing it from your point of view.
Yeah, I know. It's really weird, isn't it?
It's okay.
It's okay.
Have a good night, honey.
I'm not going to stab you over it.
Yeah, he said he's not going to stab you over it.
No, I was commentating on her, like, it's okay. I won't stab you for it.
Nice.
You can live.
Yeah. But no, like, it's an interesting thing. Like, essentially, though, like I've told most people and even, like, some people that go to the club, like, Friday was interesting just because Angela got her boyfriend to come out, and he's very anxious. Like, he has super high anxiety.
I can
But
identify
Friday-
with that.
Oh, this is way worse. Yeah, but he came out and he hung out for a little bit. He did leave a little bit earlier than we did, but I mean, he still came out because they were doing they do a thing on Fridays or every other Friday where it's kinky karaoke, but they do basically like normal karaoke type stuff.
So
but
is it just karaoke while you're naked?
I mean, girls get naked while they do karaoke. This time it wasn't really necessary because last time they were doing a what do you call it? They were doing a last time they were doing it, it was like American Idol type deal where, you know, they have like a bunch of people do karaoke, then they get like the best 3, and then they kind of have them do like a karaoke off and then, you know, vote a winner or whatever. But they didn't end up doing that this time. They ended up just doing like normal karaoke and hanging out.
So I struggle to understand this place. Like, is it just like you go into a nightclub and there's like a DJ and there's music playing and you just walk around and you go there with the knowledge that everyone there is swinging? Is that all this is? Or is it...
I mean, basically that's why, like I said, basically it's like going to a nightclub.
It's like a singles club for married people.
I mean, not everybody's married there though either. Like some people, like, you know, have, you know, fiancés, or they're just like boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever. But basically, you pay like $35 annually, and then you pay like whatever the cover for that particular night is. Essentially, kind of like how like Rudy's gets away with having like the club membership, you know, so nobody really can look too deeply into what's going on, you know, like in the club areas or whatever. So she and I will go. We're a couple. It's cheaper to go as a couple. If you go as a single guy, it's like double the amount. Plus, on top of that, if you're a single guy who's never gone there before, you have to have somebody like sponsor you or chaperone you, basically, at least for the first visit. Mainly because they want to vet out like creeps and weirdos,
Right.
which I can clearly understand. But you'll go there, you'll pay like you have the $35 annual fee, which really isn't terrible. And then you'll have like whatever it is for the night, depending upon what event is going on. Like it might be more, it might be less.
Well, I mean, I understand the whole like going to a place with like-minded people looking for the same thing.
Right.
I was just trying to wrap my head around like, is it just a club?
I mean, basically, it's
because I have zero interest in ever going to just a club.
Well, this is basically not. I mean, it's obviously not just a club, but essentially, when you walk in, you'll have like a little check-in desk where you'll check in and be like, "Hey, we've already registered" or whatever. And then there's a locker room area where you can go put your coats away and whatever else you brought with you that isn't the alcohol. Because that's the one thing that's kind of nice, and yet, I mean, I'm sure some people are a little annoyed about it, but I like the idea that it's BYOB because, like, I can bring whatever I want to drink, and, you know, at least I know it's something I'm going to want to drink. It's not like I'm stuck with whatever fucking shit they have, you know. So I'll go in, you know, you'll go in the locker room, you'll drop off your coats and whatever else you need to. Because some of the ladies will bring like a change of clothes, like they'll strip down into like lingerie or whatever later in the evening, as the liquor and the night, you know, goes on. You know, eventually they'll strip down into whatever and then go to, you know, then they'll change into something maybe sensible to wear home. But you'll have a locker room, then you'll go from out there. There are coolers you can put your alcohol in for the night. There's a little like eatery area. They'll have like sandwiches and, you know, cocktail weenies, like hors d'oeuvre type, you know, food, just because, you know, people need that, especially if they're drinking. And then the rest of it's like there's seating areas. Some of it's reserved, like VIP, whatever. And then some of it's kind of like, you know, first come, first serve. You walk around, there's an open area, or I call it the open air arena as a joke, because basically there's a bunch of couches. There is a St. Andrew's cross in the corner for those that want to get a little more, you know, Marquis de Sade about it. They've got that there, but they've got a TV with porn on it. They've got, you know, lounge chairs.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do at this place. You've got lounge chairs, you've got couches. Like, that's kind of an area where you can go in and stuff happens in there and everybody can see it. There is chairs along the sides that are they have a projector because there's a room with a camera in it. And if somebody goes in that room, they can sit there and watch, or they can sit there and have sex and watch, or they can just sit there and have sex, whatever. And then that kind of leads towards the doors to go to the outdoor area where you can smoke. Which is like a fenced-in area, but they've got like a propane fire pit thing going, so you can go out there and get warm smoke, whatever, and go back inside. And then the further you go back in there, they've got rooms back there. They've got rooms with 2 beds in them. They've got rooms with a single bed. They've got one room in the back with another, you know, TV with porn and like chaise lounge chairs. And then they've got the red.
You can watch porn, or you can watch live porn.
Or you can actually engage in porn. Yes. They've got a red room for those of you that want to get into like bondage and, you know, the good stuff. And then they've got more rooms along the other side that, again, are either single or double. There's doors, you know, that you can close and lock if you don't want people to come in. There are chains you can put across the door if you want people to watch but not come in. There's windows, which you can put blinds closed, or you can leave them open, whatever. And then, you know, that's basically it for the entire. Then there's like a dance floor they do have poles if you wish to do pole dancing, but it's basically a dance floor area. There's a big DJ booth. There's TVs everywhere that play, usually like whatever the music, like whatever song is playing, they'll usually have a music video up, or they'll have like the Champagne Club's logo, which is like a high heel champagne glass with a champagne bottle thing, whatever. But yeah, I mean, basically it's kind of like a nightclub that happens to have like rooms and stuff in the back should you want to get there.
Fucking.
Yeah, basically. But even then, like most of the
fucking
time,
nightclub.
exactly, it's a fucking nightclub essentially. People will walk around there naked and, in various states, excuse me, of undress. But yeah, it's an interesting place. Obviously it's not for everybody, but I really, it's
I'm not going to lie, I am intrigued to the point where I would love nothing more than just to walk through this place as a casual observer, but I would feel so awkward and be like, I am the world's biggest interloper.
Right. Well, I mean, that's like, in a sense, that's kind of what I was worried about with Eric, my wife's boyfriend, because, like, he's not even into the concept of threesomes. So, like, I'm going to the club's going to be weird, but with it being kinky karaoke, he likes doing karaoke, like, normally. So, like going to bars normally. I guess he used to go to a local bar.
That's terrifying to me. Like, I would be... Like,
to you that would be terrifying because you're not you don't get quite into music as like some of us do.
Like, I don't sing in church and I don't sing happy birthday at birthday parties.
Right, exactly.
I refuse to sing under any circumstance.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I love music. I listen to that shit nonstop all day. I don't like singing. I never really sang in church. I can't do karaoke. Like, fuck that.
I love singing. I've done musical theater, but the problem I have too is though, like my music proclivities, it's kind of like
doesn't really fit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most of the stuff I would want, like I don't foresee me singing like Danzig karaoke. Like I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think I'm gonna see Danzig on the list of karaoke songs that evening.
Honestly, the last time I remember singing was on a bus in high school where we all got drunk before we went on a field trip. And we were screaming Fire, Water, Burn at the top of our lungs in a bus full of, like, hardcore Christian, like, school people.
Nice.
Yeah, that didn't go over well. Turns out yelling, let the motherfucker burn is frowned upon.
Well,
so is being drunk at a school function.
You don't say. Surprise.
Surprise.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a pretty interesting place, but I mean, it's kind of nice now that like she's got him there and then like we had our girlfriend there, so it's like I wasn't necessarily bored. There's another woman there that apparently has the hots for me because she likes the fact I'm a huge nerd. It's like, all right,
that sounds like a plus.
Yeah, it is a plus, but it's kind of weird too because like I know she's with this other guy that's there, and he's kind of like the most popular dude there, and he's like
Jesus, this just turned into high school in my brain.
No, but well, he's the most popular guy there because he's like a 60-some-odd-year-old, but he does not look or act like it at all. And it's like I can only hope that when I'm your age, I act like you. Like I want to be you eventually. But yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. Actually, we've gone to... It's weird because, like, even before, like, we would go to the clubs and stuff, and then, like, maybe Saturday or whatever, we'd go out to IHOP, and he would always end up at the same IHOP we were at. So it's like, we might as well just have breakfast together. Fuck it. Like, come over here,
Right.
But yeah, it's a pretty interesting place in general. Like, but we had a pretty good weekend. Like, Friday was a little weird because even for a karaoke night, it was kind of dead. Like, I think pretty much everybody left before closing time because, like, it started getting really fucking quiet in there. Like, most of the people had already left. But, like, for that night, I think that was the best night to introduce my wife's boyfriend to the place because he's got the super anxiety thing.
That's really weird. Like, likes karaoke, has crazy anxiety about people.
I have no idea. I don't understand it myself, but it's like if he's that anxious and and all that, like I understand. And it's like, but if you're gonna come on any night to check the place out, it would definitely be like a Friday night because the turnout's not as high. So like you'll get to be able to talk and meet people and whatnot. Whereas if you go to Saturday night or like a big event night, like the first night we went ever was a New Year's Eve function. And like the place is wall to wall people. Like you can barely see across the dance floor, let alone get through the people just to get to the fucking bathroom and or the smoking area. If you're going those directions. It's like, God damn it, guys, get out of the way. I need to piss. Like I know some of you might be into that. You need to get out of my way too, because I'm not into that.
At this point, I don't care if you watch.
Yeah, at
Just
this
don't
point,
get in the way.
I really don't care. I've had too much to drink. Get out of the way.
I'm not R.
Yeah.
Kelly, so move.
Right, but yeah, no, it's a pretty interesting place. But for the most part, like everybody understands, like there are rules, there is shit going on. Apparently, though, like last night, my wife and our girlfriend went by themselves because it's like, one, I'm cheaper than a babysitter, and two, I was like, well, they went out and had like massages and stuff during the day, so I was like, oh, it's ladies' night, so you guys go check it out, you know.
You had your back massage, now go have your pussy massage. It's fine.
Well, it was weird because apparently there was one couple that was in a room next to the woman who's our girlfriend. Like, she was in there with someone else. And then, like, there was a room next door, and apparently somebody mentioned to the security guys that are there that, you know, people are sleeping in there. Because there are beds there. It's like, okay, but that's not what they're for, but
Right.
I get it. But, like, apparently somebody said that, and they were, like, banging on the door, like, you know, you need to get out of there. And it's like, we were having sex. Like, I don't understand what you're fucking mad at. You know? It's like, we're having sex, and it's like, way to kill the mood, guys. Fuck.
Right.
So, yeah, that was kind of a bad night. And apparently somebody's marriage almost got ruined. That was terrible. If it didn't get ruined, I don't know. I'm not totally sure, but...
Oh, you mean that night?
Yeah, because I wasn't there. Like I said, I was at home. I was playing Destiny 2 with you, Dan, for a little bit, and then after that, I was like, well, they aren't back home yet. They haven't mentioned they're on their way back home, so it's like, well, I started playing some other games or whatever, and I was like, well, I'm getting tired, so I'm gonna go out to the living room and probably watch a movie or something. I ended up passing out. They came home like almost like 2:30, quarter to 3. They didn't even notice I was laying down asleep on the couch at the first place. I was like, well, this is awesome. So I was like waking up as they were walking through the house, and I wasn't awake yet to say like, hey, how's it going or whatever. But yeah, they came home, and it's like, look at all the shit that happened. And I was like, man, I missed out on a really interesting evening apparently. But yeah. So anyway, moving on from my entertainment, what about you, Zach? Do you watch anything? I know you've probably been laying down and sleeping most of the time with your back.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched much of shit. Butters got me into watching Two Broke Girls because I've never seen that before.
It's actually not that bad a series. Like, we watch it when we had cable, but yeah, it's definitely kind of predictable in parts. But I mean, Kat Dennings is hot, so she makes it worth it.
Well, and to be fair, I watched every episode completely, like, not sober.
Blazed, yeah.
So it was pretty funny.
Yeah,
I like it. And we also went back and watched some like old school Buffy. That show is so terrible, but once again, when you're really messed up, it's fucking hilarious.
Oh, you wound me, sir. You wound me.
Oh, come on, it is. Like 5 minutes of Pickett episode, and you're like, oh my god, they didn't even try. Like, this is the cheapest show ever.
Okay, remind me. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to look it up now because I'm here. I'm going to find the unaired version of the pilot for you to watch. You want to talk about bad. Granted, I expect that to be bad because it was the pilot used to sell the show. So, but yeah, I'm going to find the unaired Buffy pilot. And you're going to watch that shit and tell me about how bad it is. But I love that show. Granted, like, once I got to about the 3rd season, that was where my interest kind of waned because once they got into high school and stuff, I was like, I don't know.
This when we were watching season 3.
Yeah, see, season 3 was like the best season, I think, personally, because you had Faith, which, Liza Dushku, another one of those on my celebrity fuck it list. But yeah, it's one of my favorite. That was my favorite season up until they got into like college, and then there was like a few episodes within like that season, like the subsequent seasons that were good. And then after that, I like tuned in for the last episode, but it was only like halfway through, so I missed like the majority of it. But I was like, all right, I'll watch the last episode. Okay, cool. I don't know what's going on, but cool.
See, I watched like the last 3 seasons of Angel, and that's the only thing in that universe that I had seen. And the last couple of seasons of Angel I thought were kind of good. Like, I went back and watched some of the earlier ones, but...
Angel was definitely more of a show geared towards, like, older people versus, like, Buffy was still a little bit like that tween, like, middle school, high school-ish, whatever, even when they got into college, which is probably why I sort of lost interest. But yeah, definitely like once you got into Angel, Angel was more like adult oriented, even though it got kind of stupid like in the middle seasons before the end. But yeah, and like it really makes me sad because like two of the members of that cast are fucking dead now, and it's like they were probably the two best members of the fucking show in general on Angel.
was that?
I mean, the guy who played the demon in the first episode of Angel. I
See,
forget
like I
his
said,
name.
I only saw the end of that season, so I don't know.
Well, if you go back and watch the original episode of Angel, like there was like an Irish demon guy. He was really good, but he ended
Of
up
course,
dying in it.
The Irish
He ended up
demon.
Yeah, he ended up dying in a car accident like shortly after they filmed that like first season. So it's like they had to write him out. And
I thought you were talking about in the show. And I'm
no,
like, Jesus, it's that easy to kill a demon?
no, I'm talking about in reality. He died in a car accident. And then the guy who played Lorne, the demon that could read your thoughts or whatever from singing. I forget exactly how he died, but I know it was definitely fairly recent. Oh gosh, I actually have to look it up now but yeah, Andy Hallett was his name.
For me, the best character in that show is easily Spike. I mean,
well, once they added Spike onto the show, yeah, like he was really good in Buffy, but once they added him on the show, it just added a whole new dynamic to Angel and everything else. But I really liked him on the show, especially if you watch I forget the episode title now, but there was an episode where Spike got broken up with his girlfriend Drusilla. And he drives into like fucking Sunnyvale like fucking drunk and shit, crashes into the sign on his car, and he ends up like kidnapping fucking Willow and Xander, and then like she's going through relationship shit, and they're both like pining over each other's loves at the same time. And then he like tries to eat her at one point. It's like, no, get off me.
I hate when that happens.
The best part is at the very end of the episode for me, though. Spike is driving through the desert with this like old 50s car with like really fucking like blacked out windows. Like there's just enough light in order for him to see so it doesn't burn the shit out of him. He's sitting there drinking alcohol and driving, and he's listening to Sid Vicious's My Way. It's like that's like my favorite part of the whole fucking episode. Like I don't care. Like he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna just do it my way. Driving through the desert, probably gonna burn to death in the sun, but that doesn't happen because he ends up on Angel later.
So I need to restart call note. So give me 1 second here.
I need to go pee, so I'm gonna do that while you're doing that.
yeah, I'm
Solid
gonna grab a
timing.
coffee.
Perfect timing.
Thus can only be the work of Dr. B.
And I have arrived again.
Welcome back.
Are we recording again or not yet?
I mean, we're streaming, but I haven't turned call note back on yet.
Okay. Well, as I was I was looking up the information for that guy on Angel that died, so I have it here. So.
Yeah, I realized we were like 2 hours in, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a thing where it has a memory leak.
Yeah, where call note shits the bed. Does it still do that? Like, how many years has that been?
I mean, I don't think they're really supporting it anymore. I think it's just still running, and I haven't updated it because I don't think there has been one in several years.
Wow. That's kind of sad, really.
Well, it works, I mean, for the most part. Like, aside from that one issue, I rarely have problems. I think I've had one episode not record. So, it's not a bad, out of like, what, 100 episodes or something? That's not a terrible, rate, 1%.
Yeah. Well, when Zach gets back, there's the link to that unaired Buffy pilot. From 1996, mind you.
Oh, wow.
That's how far back that goes, because they didn't start filming the first season, I think, till probably like 98, 99. Yeah, I ended up coming across that a few years ago online, and I was like, wow, it basically is exactly like the first episode. It just has slightly different ending.
Okay.
But yeah, you can tell, like, it was really kind of like, here's what we're using to sell the show. When you give us more money, this will look better,
Right.
But yeah. Yeah, actually, it was kind of funny. One of the girls that was there at the club was talking about, like, the moment when you realize how drunk you were, anal sex happened, but you don't remember.
Wow.
Yeah, so I found a GIF actually from somebody else's post that was unrelated. That was Robert Downey Jr. going, "You can't spell subtext without butt sex."
Accurate.
I was like, yes.
You're not wrong.
I must put that on there because it's great. Yeah, it's definitely not for everybody, but it's definitely an experience.
Wow, the talk show directory is really empty on Twitch now. There's only like 295 viewers in the whole directory.
Well, I think the majority of people probably realize that talk shows on Twitch are not really a commodity.
Well, they added a thing called IRL.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most of the people have moved over there.
Yeah, as I was going to say, I did see a pop-up while we were doing our thing that Kang Gaming's doing some sort of IRL thing, too.
Yeah, it has like 40,000 streamers, but it's mostly just girls wearing not much clothing.
Well, I mean, why am I sitting here talking to you assholes?
I just don't get that because there's like porn on the internet. Like, there's better ways to get that content.
Oh, yeah, I get it. I'm just saying it's kind of like, well, I mean, I guess that's a good way to put that over there where somebody that's looking for that can go for that instead of, normal streaming stuff. Yeah, Zach, I see you're back. That link that I posted there is the unaired Buffy pilot from 1996 if you want to look at it.
Where did you post it?
It's in the chat window, the Twitch chat, yes.
Okay.
So yeah, you can go and put that to your watch later thing. It's 25 minutes long, so.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Absolutely.
All right, so call notes back up and running, so we're good to go.
All right, make sure you take your mid-show break thing off.
Oh yeah, thank you. I totally would have left that up. But yes, welcome back. We've returned. The only other exciting thing is we got the cabinets out of my garage this week, which I forgot to mention earlier. And my garage looks like 20 times larger, which is fantastic. And we decorated for Christmas, so there's that.
Yeah, there's the one thing this weekend that we didn't get to do that I was hoping to do is do some, like, at least get our tree and stuff up. But oh well, we're in the market to get a new tree because one that we had's like got a few like burnt out sections, and because it's a hand-me-down tree, like I didn't get any extra bulbs or anything, so it's like I might as well just get a different tree.
Yeah, we've had ours for a lot of years, and we got to the point where we cut the lights out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we just put new ones on it every year. Like, we use the same ones when we can, but we probably put 2 or 3 new strands on it every year, and then just kind of throw them away because they never work again.
Yeah.
But other than what did I watch? Ace Ventura. I watched. We started watching the second season of a show called. Fuck, I can't remember the name of it. It's about people that come back to life.
Was it the 4400?
Glitched.
Oh, Glitched. Okay.
It's a Netflix series.
Mhm.
That was really good. I'm enjoying it. It's basically like this chemist figured out a way to give like corpses like people from like the Civil War era, like raise them from the dead and they come back perfectly normal. But they can't leave a certain like radius, or they just like start bleeding from all of their orifices and die.
Ew. Okay.
Yeah. So it's an interesting show, and it's based in a small little town called Urana in Australia. Stop it.
Sorry.
You're okay.
I was hoping to mute the mic, but it's like, nope, it's coming too fast.
That's what she said.
Not to derail the topic here, but I just remembered that I was looking up that information for the actor who played Lorne on Angel. He passed away due to congestive heart failure at the age of 33, March 29th, 2009. So there you go.
Nice.
Really sucks, as he was a really good actor, and I really love that character too. But yeah, again, continue.
What else did I watch? I'm watching Frontier on Netflix as well. It's basically about like the trappers and the East India Trading Company coming over.
I was gonna say, isn't Jason Momoa in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw like a preview image or something with that, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yep, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's good.
Cool.
Still going strong on this cigar. 2 hours in. Still have probably another 30 minutes in it, and I've been kind of power smoking it.
Yeah, I'm not going to start mine probably till after we're done recording and stuff, but I do have one of those Time Flies cigars you were talking about. I found those because I went to Tobacco Stop, which is...
Under new ownership and management, as I understand.
Yes, I didn't know anything about it either until I was talking with one of our fellow cigar club buddies at work. And he was like, yeah, they got a new lady running it and everything. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll have to check it out. I was supposed to meet him there for a smoke or whatever, but he ended up waking up late, and then he ended up passing on it. So I ended up just sitting there smoking by myself for a bit.
Sounds okay, too.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't that upset about it. The only thing that kind of sucked about it was because by the time I got that done and then headed home and everything, like I spent the rest of the afternoon like just fucking running, because it's like, well, I had to go get my kids from school, then I had to run out to Liberty Center to get a platform thing for our bed, because of the fact we have a girlfriend that stays with us and stuff, we needed a bigger bed, so we ended up getting another bed in addition to our queen beds. We have 2 queen beds, but we were putting them on the floor, but because of the new bed and the old bed, there's like a big 6-inch difference between the two. So there was a guy that makes that's a woodworker, so he made like a platform for us to put it on so that they're at the same height now. Nice. So I had to run out there with the girls to go pick that up, and then I had to run back and drop off Samantha with her dad for the weekend. Then I had to run Wednesday off to the babysitter, and then I had to run home because then we were running out to the club. It's like, ugh. As soon as I got done smoking, it's like, all right, run. But yeah, it was a pretty good it's still a good place. Like, I like the place even before. It's just the management was kind of meh. But it seemed pretty cool in there when I walked in. Like, I walked in, I went and looked at the cigars. I grabbed a couple of them for the weekend. I was hoping I wasn't going to have to go through all of them by now, but yeah. Got a few different ones that I hadn't had before. Because I ended up trying one of those Chillin' Moose 2s that you were talking about.
I was not a fan of that cigar.
It was actually okay until like at first I had some of the cap kind of come off when I was having it, but then the rest of the time it smoked pretty well. It just took like forever.
Yeah.
So I felt like I was there forever, which didn't really bother me that much. But then, like, as I was getting home and trying to finish it off or whatever, it started to unravel a little bit. But I mean, it was towards the end anyway, so it wasn't that big a deal.
I mean, every one of those I had, like, at different points of smoking them. I think probably like 5 of them. They all like completely disintegrated in my hand.
Yeah,
like
I didn't have it quite go that
puff
bad. But
you'd have like a mouthful of Scooby snacks. I was like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, mine wasn't that bad. It didn't have that so much. It was just like the outside wrapper would fall apart. But again, like by the time it really fell apart was towards the end of it anyway, where I was just trying to nub it.
I wish this was how people like reviewed wrappers. Like, yeah, 2 Chainz really unraveled about halfway through.
Yeah, well, I don't know. But basically, that was the part that mainly fell apart. Like the rest of it was fine. So construction was good. I don't know if maybe their humidification is up to par or whatever. But I mean, it held together pretty well for me for the most part when I had it from there. So if you're in town again, Dan, you might want to look into seeing what they've got going on with it and try it out from them.
Yeah, I know. I should be in town fairly soon. I was going to talk with Joe about doing some advertisement for Rudy's.
Good idea. But yeah, like I went out there. They actually still have those Texas Lanceros, the Alec Bradley ones. I was like, oh, I'm so tempted to grab one of those. I haven't had one of those in fucking years now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to get one of those Texas Lanceros again. But they've got a bunch of those there. They've got the Time Flies, which I know you were recommending a while back. So I picked up one of those. They had Man of War Damnation, which I had never had before. I've had other Man of War cigars, but I never had that one. That one was really good. I would say it's not so much a spicy, dark, like full flavor, but it's like black cup of coffee kind of flavor.
Okay.
So like you'd probably like it, Dan. I think it definitely is a very full flavored cigar, but it's really good. What else did I pick up? I picked up an Undercrown because I hadn't had one of those in a while, and they had some of the bigger ones there. So I had that the other day. But yeah, I mean, they've got a pretty good selection of stuff, like pretty much anything you could think of, even some stuff that I didn't even think they would carry. The lounge area that was in the back behind the door is still kind of like a private lounge area. I'm not sure what the requisite, stuff is to get in there, but, I did see it kind of from the outside. But they still have like the chairs and everything sitting out there right by the humidor so I can sit down and smoke, and no big deal. They were pretty cool. Like actually I ended up standing there talking because it was after the first of the month they had guys doing inventory. And I saw a guy and he had like the calculator thing on his leg doing the inventory, and I was like, I was never very good with those things because I used to work for an inventory company that used those. It was a different company. But I was like, I was never very good with those, but I did do that for about a year or so. And he was like, oh yeah, you should come out to South Bend. We need you. And I was like, I had my Walmart hoodie on. So I was like, I already do that on a daily basis and I don't have to fuck around with that thing. So
yeah,
I'm good. Thanks.
Thanks, but no.
Yeah, no, I'm good. You're not going to pay me $22.45 an hour. I know that already. So thanks. That was the only thing that kind of sucked about tonight was we ended up going out to some of our friends. They're actually club goers. They're friends of ours. We went out over there to play Cards Against Humanity and hang out with them for a bit. And they, like, on the way there, I go right past the new milk plant that we just built here. And I was like, see, if I could get in there, I would only have to drive this far.
I just picture like a dairy, but it's just a bunch of moms hooked up.
No. It has nothing to do with the club and sex. I'm talking about the Walmart milk plant. Basically, yeah, like it essentially it looks like a dairy, but it's also the area they've got is basically the size of like our warehouse, essentially.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've driven
Yeah.
past it a few times.
Yeah, so it's just like, wow. Like I would love to work there, but I don't really want to be a Lyft driver, and I don't have the time to get a chemistry degree, so
There's always that
Sucks to be-
age-old problem.
sucks to be me, basically.
What are you doing? Oh, I went and got my chemistry degree,
Mhm.
casually.
Just for funsies.
God, I feel like Joe Rogan constantly clearing my throat. 'Tis the season, I guess. I also started listening to some of the Giant Bomb Game of the Year stuff. They're all in San Francisco, like the East Coast office from New York flew out there for that. So I started listening to a bit of that, and they got into the... it's called HQ. It's a live trivia game. So it's like multiple choice, and you only get 10 seconds to pick an answer, so you don't really have time to Google answers. Like,
Yeah.
maybe if you're really lucky, but probably not. And then the winner twice a day gets a piece of $1,000 split amongst however many winners there are. The problem is it only works on iPhone. You can't even use a tablet. It has to be an iPhone. And it actually sounded pretty cool. Like, we listened to them do one live because it takes like 2 minutes for the whole thing, and I was like, shit, I would have won like $200.
Right.
Still not getting an iPhone. But yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much my entertainment. I guess a good transition is I've been watching a fuck ton of Twitch. Specifically Path of Exile, because they did a thing where every 5 minutes you have a 1% chance at getting a hat, like a headpiece microtransaction for Path of Exile while you're watching a Twitch stream or streaming the game. So I was just watching a ton of PoE whenever I was like watching Titus or whatever. And they said it would take like on average 8 hours of watching a stream to get a drop, and you only can get one during the event. It ended up taking me like 30 hours to actually get my hat to drop.
How do you know if you got it?
They send you a message on the PoE forums, or you can just log into the game and check. So I was just like refreshing the messages page in Path of Exile's website. But yeah, they're full of shit with the whole 8 hours. They're like, oh, you can get it in the first 5 minutes. No, you fucking can't. You could win the lottery too. That being said, I did get my hat, and I didn't get one I wanted, unfortunately, but it was like the first one I've ever gotten. So I have a guy that looks like a hobo with a fucking Dark Lord's helmet on. Like, did you fucking kill Sauron in a back alley or something? Did he fall over dead and this hobo picked up the hat? I don't understand. So that's kind of a bummer, but the whole idea behind it is like, sell them the hat and they'll buy the body armor to go with it.
Right.
Unfortunately, I won't be doing that because they're like $10. But yeah, that's kind of it for entertainment for me. It is nice to be able to actually watch some Twitch streams again. So I've been doing that, and then yeah, what have you guys been playing this week? Or I guess the last 2 weeks, because we didn't really record a normal episode last week.
Well, this week in particular, especially since I've been hanging out with Butters and Matt so much, I've been playing a ton of Rocket League, which I'm super excited about. I'm playing it right now, actually.
It
Love
is
me
fun.
some Rocket League.
It's a good time, and it's not like it. You can really try hard, but you can also just kind of fuck around, and it's a good time, and your team doesn't get super angry at you because it's such a casual game on the base level.
Or they do, but I never have voice on, so I don't care.
Also that.
Because nobody really types in this game.
I did watch a little bit of a Rocket League tournament today,
Mm-hmm.
and I stopped watching it because it made me angry because I'll never be that incredibly good at that game, and it's kind of terrifying to me that anyone is.
Right.
Yeah, it can be, especially when you first start off on the game, it's really frustrating to like do anything, and then when you watch professionals do it, you're like, how? Like, you have to be doing math in your head. This is retarded.
Like, I'm okay at the basic mechanics of the game, but like the whole angling their car at the perfect angle and having exactly enough boost for the thing they need to do to get the ball at the right angle and jump into the sky and turn their car the right way and angle the ball. I'm like, I don't want to be that good at this game. Like, I appreciate that you are, but no thank you. I'll continue fucking around and make my car look ridiculous.
Nice.
Also,
Absolutely.
I like to play that game as the enforcer in a hockey game and just drive around and fucking crash into people and kill them.
Yeah.
Which does help the team occasionally, and sometimes I accidentally ram teammates and it's a problem, and I'm so sorry, Zero. You have to tolerate me.
I had a bunch of moments where I was like, I'm going to get this goal, and then here comes Dan out of nowhere to just shove me into fuck you land. There you go.
My favorite place, fuck you land.
I was gonna say that needs to be a shirt. Shove you into fuck you land. I will shove you into fuck you land if you take my Twinkie one more time.
Call my dick that all the time.
Well, then it would be a good thing. I'm talking about like a horrible place, like fuck you land, like where where every hot dog vendor just goes fuck you every time you try to order something.
Oh god, that sounds like hell. You could never get a hot dog. They're just like, no, fuck you. Walks away. It's literally my personal hell.
They pick up their cart and just walk off.
There's like a perfect taco that's always just out of reach no matter where you go. It's like a bad dream.
Right.
You wake up and you're like, tacos, no.
Right. Nice. Sounds good to me.
What about you, Andrew? What have you been playing?
I've still been working around on Secret World Legends because I still keep getting my free daily cash key or whatever. So I go and I have like 70 some odd like haunted caches sitting in my bank right now. So like every day I open one. I actually completed at least one of the
longest advent calendar.
Pretty much. I've completed actually one of they had like a special outfit you can get. So I completed the outfit, but I'm still kind of hoping I get the mount maybe one day. And I know the only thing I know.
High school.
Yeah. But I know like one day, basically I know my I guess like percentage or chances or whatever improve the more I open boxes. Because like when I had a bunch of keys, kind of like when I was sitting on a bunch of the keys, I was opening like one after the other up, and it's like the rewards kept getting better and better. Whereas like when I'm opening them up at like one every day, it's like Okay,
Jesus,
that's
you're
kind
like Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, it's like Okay, that's kind of good. Oh,
Got
okay,
a bunch
finally.
of keys. Got
It's
some
like, oh,
rewards.
Well, no, the keys you only get like either you have to pay real money for them or you get your daily stipend of them if you're a patron, which because I've got my lifetime subscription, I get I get one key per day. But I had a bunch of them like saved up because I never really opened any of the caches because I wasn't playing that much.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm playing regularly, it's kind of like, okay, well now I only get the one key a day thing. So I'm only able to open up like one cache at a time, but I'm still having fun with that, still messing around with leveling up weapons and playing through the game. I'm really digging it. Kind of hoping maybe it won an award or whatever, because I know Steam was doing awards or something a while back. And they were like, well, you can nominate whatever you want. I was like, I nominated it for the Haunting My Dreams because there is some pretty like scary shit in that game sometimes.
I feel like Warframe is probably going to win that because I know they've been advertising it too, and I think they have a little larger player base. But I hope you win.
For Haunts My Dreams?
Oh, no, for the Steam Awards. I thought it was
Okay.
like just a general thing.
Well, no, there were different categories you could nominate for, and then one of them was like this game
Okay.
haunts my dreams. So I put Secret World Legends in there.
Nice.
There's some scary shit in that game. So it's like, all right, especially like the amusement park where, like people died on amusement rides, and there's one part where you actually have to ride the roller coaster with these fucking ghosts popping out at you and shit. It's like, okay, I wasn't expecting that. That's different. I'm
Nice.
riding this dilapidated, rusty fucking roller coaster with fucking ghosts coming out at me. It's like, all right, cool.
Fucking ghost came on me. It was terrifying.
Right?
See, I think for that award, I listed The Flame and the Flood.
I don't think I voted.
Yeah.
I think that was the only one I voted for because it was like the first one, and I'm lazy.
Mm.
But that game, like, it's not really that much of a horror game or anything until you're about to die.
Right.
And then there's the moments where your character's like dehydrated and diseased and being attacked by shit, and you're just like
Jesus Christ, is this real life?
and you're just like hobbling along, just watching your character slowly just be uncomfortable until they die. And the screen slowly goes black as you start to lose consciousness. I'm like, fuck, man,
Jesus
this is
Christ.
like
This is real life.
right.
it's fucking that shit haunts my dreams. That's the only.
Okay, yeah, I could kind of see where that would probably trump Secret World Legends, but yeah. But other than that, like games wise, all I did play a little bit of Destiny 2 with you last night, Dan.
Mhm.
I kind of am saving that game for like the game we all play together because obviously you guys got it for me to play with me, so it's like that might as well be like the game we play all together. Other than that, like I ended up taking advantage of the Steam sale they got going on right now with like the Classics Return, like 75% off or whatever.
Honestly,
So I picked
haven't
up.
even looked at that.
Yeah, I picked up. They have a bunch of different games, but I know they have all the Shadowrun games on
Oh,
discount
nice.
right now. So I picked up the other two Shadowrun games that I haven't played yet, and I'm going back through and playing through the first one because I never actually beat it. I did play a bit of it, but I never really played it all the way through. Mainly lately because one of the guys that actually used to run a Shadowrun pen and paper game that I used to play has started messaging on like a Facebook group for like Indiana, like Northern Indiana, like Shadowrun players.
Nice.
And he keeps messaging. He's like, dude, you should check out my new campaign. It's like, I would love to, but I'm a fucking father and have shit to do. So I don't really have the time. Like, if I'm lucky, I can play like these Harebrained Schemes Shadowrun games. I might end up looking into maybe like in the winter sale or whatever, picking up the other Shadowrun, like the Boston Lockdown, like the Shadowrun online game or whatever.
So I've never actually played Shadowrun, which I just realized. Like I own two of them.
Okay.
I have Shadowrun Returns and Dragonfall.
Yeah.
But I don't have Hong Kong, which I don't know if that's just like an expansion or something.
No,
Nope.
it's a standalone.
It's just they're all standalone
Which
games.
one's the most recent?
The most
Hong Kong.
recent, is Hong Kong. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Dragonfall is 2014, Returns is 2013, and I guess Hong Kong is 2015.
I have all three of those. I never played the really old one.
Returns.
I think it was on like Nintendo or Super Nintendo. That was like the first one.
Yeah, that was the original. Yeah, they did have a Shadowrun game that was on like Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis.
Yeah, I didn't
I
play
did-
that, and I didn't play the Xbox like online one either.
The Xbox Online one I did get to play, but by the time I got to play it, it was like when there was really nobody online because it was kind of garbage. The only other Shadowrun, like I said, I got to play was like the tabletop, like pen and paper RPG, like back in 3rd edition, which they're up to 5th edition now, so that's a long time ago now. But yeah, I really like the setting of it just because it's that dystopian future, like Blade Runner, but like
Yeah, I really want to play this now. I'm definitely going to check out the most recent one I have.
yeah, I mean, basically, it's essentially like imagine Blade Runner, but you've got mages and trolls and elves and all the typical like fantasy characters like running around. Like so, you've got people standing next to dwarves and trolls and orcs and all that stuff. Basically, like mega corporations own the entire United States, other than the
So
parts.
now-
Well, yes, other than the parts that the Native Americans took back once magic was reawoken in the universe. So like again, you've got mages,
So
you've
now-
got So yeah, except you've got mages and shaman and other people running around. And basically, like, technology is so advanced. Like, if you want to have Wolverine claws, you can have Wolverine claws. If you want fucking fangs, you can get fangs, like vampire or whatever. Yeah, it's basically like far-flung future tech. So imagine like a high-tech version of D&D, and there you go.
Yeah, this sounds great. I'm gonna check it out.
The pen and paper version I really liked because, like, unlike Dungeons and Dragons, you only had to have D6s. But basically, it was based on your stats. So, like, if you have a 12, like, I forget exactly what the stats are for Shadowrun, but it's like if you have, like, a 12 Constitution, okay, you roll 12 D6s. Everything 5 or above is a success. Everything below that is a fail. Obviously, a 1 is a complete fail. And that also cancels out your whatever successes you have. So, right. Bam. That's why the constant joke for Shadowrun pen and paper is that, like, yeah, you can play it, but you need a bathtub full of dice. And it's full of D6s. And it's like, yeah, but at least it's easy to calculate, whereas fucking Dungeons and Dragons, I can't fucking calculate 5 different kinds of dice. Like, fuck that. Like, that's the other reason why I like Vampire, too, as well, is because Vampire only used D10. So, again, it's pretty easy to calculate what the fuck I did or didn't do, But yeah, Shadowrun is really fun, and it's turn-based RPG style, so if you're into that, well, obviously you guys like Final Fantasy, so there you go. It's very much in that sort of turn-based style.
Nice.
But yeah, I recommend it, especially if you sort of like, like me, I always like my swords and sorcery with machine guns, and so there you go, Shadowrun, bam. I used to play some really good, interesting campaign. Like, I played 2 different campaigns, but I had the same guy running them. I played one where I had sort of a, oddly enough, I had basically like a future Punisher. Because, like, he worked for a company, Aztec Technology. And then he got fired because, like, he was an APC driver who was a rigger, which basically you jack into the thing and you can pilot it with your mind, essentially, Matrix style. And basically he got in trouble for something that went bad, so I kind of lifted that out of the Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He got in trouble for something that went bad and people died, so, like, they ended up firing him, taking out all his rigging, but they left, like, his targeting computer and other stuff. So he has this like panel van that's kind of like, it's got a cow catcher on the front of it. It has a turret in the back, which that was really fun, driving around in one of the scenarios where we're getting chased by guys on, like, a fucking highway. So it's like, all right, guys, somebody take the wheel. So I get in the turret and
Nice.
It's like fucking turret on the fucking highway, like, go away, fuckers,
So is the game itself turn-based?
Yeah.
Well, the game itself, when you actually get into combat, is turn-based. The rest of the time, it's a lot of walking around, talking to people, typical RPG type stuff.
It's basically Divinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's a better example, yeah. But yeah, it works pretty much like that. It's a pretty good setting, and I like the idea that they still let you create, like, whatever character you want. So you can be, like the Shadowrun Returns that I'm running right now, I'm playing a street samurai elf. So I've got high quickness and all that, which I figured for a street samurai, is probably a good idea. Although it kind of reminds me of when I the other pen and paper campaign I played in. I made what they call a physical adept, which is basically like a martial artist. I made a physical adept elf who lived above a Chinese restaurant, worked for the Chinese restaurant, and when he wasn't doing that, he was watching kung fu flicks. So it's like he's sitting there watching, like, fucking, like, Shaw Brothers, like, Quentin Tarantino shit, like Seven Samurai, and all that kind of, like, kung fu, like, Hong Kong action cinema shit. Mm-hmm. In fact, I remember one time we were gaming and I was out on a run with a bunch of guys, and then all of a sudden I got, like, a call on my comm link or whatever, and it was like, "You'll be gone for 2 hours. Where you at? You need to do delivery." It's nice. It's like, I'm busy, like, trying not to get shot at right now. Can you call me later?
Fantastic.
Yeah, the guy that ran the games, I loved like gaming with him because when he ran the games, he was more interested in having a really good time and a good story as opposed to being a rule lawyer. And those are always the guys I love gaming with because I don't like rules lawyers. I want somebody that's going to be like, well, this sounds like a more fun time or a more interesting thing, you know? Like, let's just have fun. Let's have fun with this. Let's not make it like fucking rules heavy. But yeah, I miss playing those games, and like ever since he started posting that stuff again, it's like I kind of got that itch. Like I would really love to play again, but I haven't played it in so long. Like I don't have any clue what has changed between 3rd edition and 5th edition. Because I have the 3rd edition rule book sitting on my shelf right now, and it's like I don't even know what's changed now. So I'd have to get the new book and figure it all out again. So that's the other reason why I'm kind of like, yeah, I'd love to play again, but I have no fucking clue what I'm doing anymore.
I mean, like, even with like D&D and whatnot, I still only play 3rd edition.
Yeah. Well, I know that they've probably... I think that they're playing the more modern edition, but he's got a campaign going where he's talking about... Instead of playing like as a Shadowrunner or whatever, he's like having everybody play as like a law enforcement agency, like FBI or something. I was like, that's kind of interesting. That's a little bit different than what you would normally get for a Shadowrun game.
Okay. Sounds fun. I'm kind of excited to check that out.
Yeah, that's basically all I've really been playing, though, other than, like I said, Destiny 2 with you, which I'm having fun with that, too. I'm really glad you guys ended up picking that up for me. Thank you very much for the early Christmas gift.
Yeah, it's nice to have a 3-man team in that game.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Even a 2-man, because like last night, I know we were kind of getting our asses kicked for a little bit, but...
Yeah. No, it was it's fun. I enjoyed just playing that game. I think that's the general takeaway in Destiny is it's just a fun game to play, and people wish there was more like end game longevity that wasn't necessarily rating in that game.
Right.
And it sounds like that's what they're working on adding in a lot of. Like doing certain tasks to get like stat trackers on your guns that tell you how many times you've killed things with it, or you know, stuff that's just interesting rather than like, oh, chase this carrot.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, like on one hand, I've never really been interested in that stuff so much. I mean, like, yeah, it's kind of cool for one of those like, while I'm busy equipping stuff or whatever, like looking at it in the menus, like, oh, I've killed this guy with this gun like 1,700 times. Cool. But like, it's never anything that I'm looking for. If anything, I mainly just. Because of the way that game's lore is presented, I always like it when they add something to that makes figuring that shit out easier. Because otherwise, like, I really don't understand what my character has to do with the grand scheme of things. Because yeah, even though like the whole idea is like you're supposed to be like the chosen one, whatever. Because I'm playing with 3 of you and you're all supposed to be the chosen one, like, who the fuck of us is really the chosen one? Like, are we all the chosen one? And that kind of takes all the fun out of that because it's that whole idea of like, yeah, I'm unique just like everyone else. You know? Mm-hmm. It kind of takes away from that idea. Yeah. So I'm hoping, if nothing else, like at least they make it so that the lore sort of makes sense in terms of like you actually have a place in this universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't count on it. They don't.
Yeah,
Destiny's story was never about making sense.
I know. I don't necessarily want it to make sense. I'm just saying, like, I wanted at least to feel like I actually have a place in this universe. Otherwise, it's like, why the fuck do you need me when you've got Cade Six and this chick and the fucking sad blue-eyed man and like who? Like, you got all these fuckers. What do you need me for? Like, really? What am I really here for? So, like, most games, I think, do a little bit better job of, like, making you feel like you actually have an impact in the universe.
Well,
that they're trying to create.
Part of the story is, honestly, you yourself don't matter. Mm-hmm. In Destiny 1, it was a lot more so. In Destiny 2, it's kind of like you matter during the main story because you are the 1 or 2 guardians that got your light back before everybody else, but everyone eventually gets it back and you go back to being meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
Which works for a massively multiplayer game.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, in general, it's kind of like, to a certain extent, I feel like my character is superfluous to everything.
Honestly, I care about it less in Destiny. I have a bigger problem with it in Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Elder Scrolls Online is like, the story is specifically about you being the one person that's going to save the world from all this stuff.
Who who the
the
fuck are
other
these
1,000
guys?
people. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
who the fuck are these guys behind me?
Why is this guy still asking for bandages? We've healed everyone.
Yeah, pretty much. That's basically how I feel about it. Like, I would love to jump back into Elder Scrolls again too, but I'm trying to limit my games to a certain extent. That's why I've got like Destiny 2 to play with you guys, and then I've got like Shadowrun to kind of play with single player during the week. Maybe jump on to Secret World Legends here and there just to open my caches and play a little bit more of the story, because I'm up to level, I think it's like 32 in that game, and I think the cap is 50. So
Okay.
so I mean, I'm progressing pretty well. I'm a little, like, the one thing that's kind of sad is I'm a little tired of the shadowbound weapons I have. But I am starting to experiment with branching out into the other weapon trees, because I'm not sure if this works for everybody, but I know, like, for patrons, you can unlock all of the weapon trees. Because I've already unlocked 2 of the outfits for the weapons for the hammer and the shotgun, which are my main weapons right now.
It's the new hammer and sickle, really.
Basically, yeah. But there's two outfits, like each particular weapon originally in the original Secret World, like, depending upon which faction you were in, if you made a particular build, you unlocked a particular outfit. Whereas now, like, you can go with whatever build you want in the beginning, like where you pick your class, and then from then on, like, you can get other weapons and play with other weapons, and like there's no real lock on anything. So you can make your own kind of build however you want. And as you do that, there's like capstones that you can unlock by progressing in all the different weapon trees or whatever. And I'm like, that's kind of cool, because I unlocked 2 of them by doing the hammer and the shotgun one, because I was like, I'm just going to pick the one class and play that one till, whenever. And that's basically what I've been doing, and I'm still doing that, but I'm also going back and unlocking other weapon skills. Even though I'm not using them, I'm just unlocking them because it's like I've got points and I'm playing the game. Fuck it, I might as well unlock everything. And I want to see what the other outfits look like, because I've got 2 of them, and one of them's kind of cool because it's called the Warrior outfit, and it's got like these like red and black camo pants. Like, originally, I guess that outfit was like a dragon faction only, which I think looks better because it's the green.
Yeah.
So it looks like with the green camo pants and shirt and like a scarf, and you've got like a suspender thing with like a bandolier of pouches and shit. But in red, it doesn't look too bad, especially because my character wears that, and he has a red and white skull bandana. So like, adding to that, especially because the guy's a Latino character, it's like, yeah, he looks kind of like a fucking badass gangbanger. Go for it.
Nice.
So yeah, and then I unlocked another one called Warlord, which has like these gray pants and these red boots, and it's got this really long coat that kind of looks like Star-Lord's coat a little bit, like his long coat.
Nice.
It's like I almost want to make Star-Lord in this game, but it's not really going to work because I don't have a cool mask yet. They do have a Rocketeer-looking mask that would be cool to do that with, but I haven't unlocked it yet because I haven't reached that achievement.
Speaking of Star-Lord, that fucking new what was the new Marvel trailer that just came out?
Infinity War.
Was it Avengers movie? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Avengers Infinity War, yes. Yeah. I really like that part at the end. That's why I put that quote up there when I shared it, because I was like, he's like, who the hell are you guys? It's like, you said it yourself, bitch. We're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
Well, I just like the fact that they're going to put Stash Lord in there.
Stash Lord? You mean Star Lord? Yeah.
It was a joke from the Telltale game.
Oh, yeah.
They just concluded the Guardians of the Galaxy one.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, they do a flashback where Star-Lord has a mustache, and everyone in the team just comments on how stupid it is. And apparently, in that trailer, Star-Lord has the stash.
Nice.
Well, he's like trying to do the whole like 5 o'clock shadow, but it's like it's 7 o'clock on his lips and 5 o'clock everywhere else. It's like his lip is in a different time zone somehow.
Excellent.
But yeah, I really dug that trailer, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I can't wait to see where this progresses, especially because I'm glad that we see what Josh Brolin's Thanos is really going to look like. Although I'm also going like, why did he ditch all the rest of his outfit? Like, what the fuck is going on? Did I miss something? Because I remember he had like the full like helmet and the whole outfit like in the other movies. Like, why all of a sudden did he ditch his outfit?
Right.
Hopefully they like maybe explain that or something.
I'm just waiting for a Guardians of the Galaxy Deadpool crossover. Come on.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy Deadpool. Well, you know, if Disney's lucky and manages to buy all of Fox's assets, maybe. Although I highly doubt Deadpool's going to make it over because, yeah, we're Disney. We're not going to do that.
Disney already owns Deadpool.
But that was a Fox movie.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was.
Yeah, that's why the X-Men characters can appear in it because it's a Fox movie because Fox still owns the rights to X-Men.
So it looks like Sony allowed Marvel to have use of Spider-Man in their shared film universe.
Yeah, because
the only rights that Marvel
anything with
Studios does not have access to are X-Men and the Fantastic Four and Deadpool.
Right, because
that is a 20th Century Fox property.
Huh.
Yeah, because Deadpool's is because technically Deadpool's a X-Men anyway. So
Yes.
so yeah, I mean that makes sense. But yeah, I was reading or I saw an article or whatever earlier today where they were talking about like Disney still might be trying to acquire the assets from 20th Century Fox. I'm like, if you do that, that's going to piss a lot of people off because then Deadpool will no longer exist. Because Disney is not going to do that. I don't care how close to it they get with like Guardians of the Galaxy or something. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do Deadpool, not the way it was done before. It's just not going to work.
Disney will ruin everything.
I'm not saying they'll ruin it, but they definitely don't want that on their slate because again, they're Disney. Like I get it. It's you know, like all of a sudden, if Pizza Hut starts selling fucking cheeseburgers, like, wait, what? What the fuck is going on? Hold on, like this is not my
to totally derail us. But Ashley and I had a conversation about why people don't put pickles on pizza.
Gross.
That would be my answer.
I mean, I'm going to try it because I love pickles and I love pizza, but I have very low expectations for this combination.
I mean, I can understand doing like the black or the green olives like on a Supreme pizza, but a pickle
also, let me ask you this. Why do we call pickles pickles and not pickled cucumbers? Because you can pickle a lot of other things. Why aren't like pickled jalapenos or pickled onions considered pickles?
I think at some point along the way, somebody got really lazy and decided they didn't want to say pickled cucumber because that was too much of a mouthful. So they just said, fuck it, we're calling them pickles.
Good answer.
And then they found out they could pickle everything.
Right. Then they're like, oh, pickled pig's feet, pickled eggs.
Quick Google search has revealed that apparently in the United States, it's commonly known as a pickle or a gherkin in the United Kingdom. So a pickle is a gherkin if you're not in the U.S., Canada, or... Yeah, that's it. Everywhere else, like the UK, Australia, and New Zealand, it's a gherkin.
I was going to say, like, I've had gherkins, but in America, they are... what do you call it? They're the gherkins here are usually the sweet kind, and they're tinier than regular pickles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
it's a sweet pickle, not a dill pickle.
Right? Yeah. It's definitely
so like a bread and butter pickle.
Yeah, although I would say a bread and butter pickle is still not as sweet. Like a sweet gherkin is almost like if you've ever had like a pickled egg.
Yeah, like a cocktail pickle kind of thing.
Right. It tastes more like that, where it's really, really sweet. Yeah, and it's not I'm not a big fan of gherkins myself. I'd rather just have regular dill pickles. But
I'll take any kind of pickle, honestly. But yeah, just it's one of those things where it's like, why? But yeah, I think you're probably right. We got lazy.
Yeah.
Got lazy in our naming, and we got fucking pickles as a result. Okay, we should continue being lazy. If we've learned anything, this works out. Anyway, not to totally derail us, I played a fuck ton of Path of Exile this week.
Yes.
I've been kind of testing out characters for the new league coming up called Abyss League, which is almost like another full expansion after they added 6 new acts to the game, which is pretty cool. They're adding a ton of new skills. They're tweaking the way a bunch of different things work. It's a huge update, so I've been kind of testing things out. And one of the things I love about the game is the ability to chain skills together. So, for example, the thing that I've been testing out is I want to make my guy use a shield and use shield dash to run into people, which then lights them on fire, and if it crits, it then causes me to cast a spell called Glacial Cascade, which sends a wave of icicles out all over the place and kills a bunch of other shit.
So essentially, this build should be called the Pain Train.
Yeah, pretty much. The idea is to shield charge into people, kill them, and then cause them to explode into icicles, which radiate out and kill people, and then light them on fire as well as anything nearby. Because icicles light things on fire. And then also I'm going to electrocute you.
Choo choo, all aboard the Pain Train.
That's the reason that I really enjoy Path of Exile, is the ability to use this obnoxious skill tree to make your character able to do pretty much whatever the fuck you want it to do, and somehow it's going to work out if you're, even mildly trying.
Right.
It's not perfect, but it's actually the first build that I theory crafted out and built the tree myself. And I feel like it's going fairly well considering how complicated all of this is. It's a good first attempt. So the problem is when you're testing builds, it's like, oh, you only need to play for 10 hours before you have the stuff to do this. So it's like, fuck, I just wasted 10 hours. Or that took 10 hours and I need to tweak this, so we're going to start from scratch.
Right.
So I don't play the game a ton, but when I do play it, I usually play a lot because it's a big time investment to test things out. And that's why most people go with cookie cutter builds where they're like, oh, I found this on the internet and followed it to a T and it works great. But after a while that gets boring because you're just doing the same thing over and over again. I mean, it's basically like a loot slot machine. You're just hoping good shit drops. And it's really difficult when you start doing it to where you can't buy gear from other players. And trading in that game is difficult. You have to use a third-party website, or you can use the Path of Exile market, which they just added, where you can search for items, but most people still use the third party because we've just been doing that for 5 years. So when you say, I'm going to do this solo self-found, no help from anyone, I can't group up, I can't trade items with players, I'm just stuck using the items that I find. It kind of comes down to, well, I'm going to start with a character that doesn't require hard to get gear, or it's not dependent on getting this special item that only works and makes this build work. I tried a Glacial Cascade Trapper where you'd set down a mine, a remote mine, and then trigger it, and it would shoot out these ice waves. But that build doesn't really work very well unless you have a specific item that makes you put down 6 mines instead of 3. And it also lets you trigger them twice. So you're not casting it twice in order to use it twice. You can just set the claymore off. And then, oops, I missed. I'm going to set it off again. It's just a lot more efficient and fast. So you try to avoid things like that when you start out fresh, or if you're doing solo self-found, you usually try to stick with stuff that's yeah, I just need this general type of item and it'll give me the stats I need to do the thing I want to do. So the game is just so complex and deep, and that's why people get really into it. It's not so much the grind of playing it and killing millions of enemies over and over and over. Like, that is a big part of it, and it's satisfying to play. The big thing that draws people in is the customization, and it's kind of disappointing because most people don't do that. They just go with cookie cutter builds because they want to be the best there ever was, like it's fucking Pokemon or something.
I mean, to a certain extent, I can kind of get behind that.
That's
because
how to learn. That is how you learn.
I mean, it's how you learn, but then again, like, that's part of the issue I had with, like, Secret World Legends, because, like, I wanted to find, like, they give you classes to start with. It's like I wanted to find one that was going to suit my play style. So I like the idea of the shotgun and the hammer because I had the shotgun for, you know, range. I mean, granted, not long range.
Yeah,
but,
like medium range and close range, yeah.
Right, and then as soon as, like, the zombies and the lower level baddies started coming towards me, I had the hammer for the close range stuff. You know, and then I eventually found a build that relied more on the shotgun, so much to the point now where I don't really use the hammer very much. Like, the only ability from the hammer that I actually use is one called Eruption, which basically, like, my hammer strikes the ground and erupts a bunch of, like, fire from the ground and, like, lifts enemies up into the air and knocks them down for a little bit. You know, so, like, that's the only hammer ability I use. The rest of the abilities I have are just a shotgun. Which, the only problem with that, though, is I end up running out of shotgun energy fairly quickly, even though I've got one ability that's just like a non-energy using, you know, shotgun blast. So it's like, well, but I found that one because I wanted to use that more so than the hammer, because, again, I wanted range. I wanted to be able to, like, you know, put like 3 good shots in from my shotgun into an enemy and they're dead. No big deal. But yeah, I mean, like, I use that cookie cutter kind of build because it's like, well, I could see, like, this guy was running around killing, like, level 50 werewolves with it. So it's like, all right, cool. Let me borrow that real quick, you know, take a screenshot here and figure out what he uses for the passives and the actual abilities.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I want to do. And I was thinking about redoing that because I was like, well, I've got these other weapons. Maybe I should branch out into those weapons. But again, I'm at level 30. I've already leveled up the shotguns and everything else that I'm using to, you know, as high as I can level them right now until I hit 50. So I might as well just stick with the build I've got for a while until I've got all my shit leveled up and ready to go. Then I can just, you know, start waylaying fools.
All right, y'all. It is way past time for me to get to sleep, so I'm going to need to jump off.
Yeah, we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah, indeed.
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to more Destiny this week and some of the changes and updates coming out. The first expansion for Destiny comes out on Tuesday, which is cool.
Okay.
It adds Mercury for us to go and check out and murderify some Vex.
Well, wait a second, though. You guys gifted it to me, so did you just gift me the base game?
It is the base game,
It
yeah.
is the base, yeah.
But I'm not sure if you get that expansion or not. I really don't know. Like,
No,
it's not
we gotta buy that expansion.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm
Well,
going to say,
I
like,
figured, worst case scenario, you're more likely to be able to come up with like $10 or $20 than, you know,
Yeah.
$40 or $60 or whatever. So.
well, yeah, I was going to say, like, if anything, I can probably pick up the pass at some point. But yeah, like,
And there's
eventually.
no rush. Like, yeah,
Right.
me and Zero can go do that content because we have 2 maxed out characters.
Right.
But there's
I'm
no
not even
reason
there
you and I
yet.
can't keep playing the story together. So.
Right. Well, that, and I'm just working on the one character at a time. Essentially, it's kind of the same idea that I had with Secret World Legends, because I wanted to get one character up, and then, excuse me, I can go back and do something else
Yeah.
whenever I
So,
feel like it.
looking forward to that. And then the Path of Exile new league starts in like a week. But yeah, we're also going to be posting the podcast episodes frequently. They're going back up on iTunes and everything. I had to rebuild the website from scratch.
Okay.
And that has a live stream. So if you want to send people to boxpressradio.com, they can go there. And if I'm streaming, they'll see me streaming. And if we're recording, we'll be recording live. And they can find all the places to download too.
Well, I was going to say, you definitely need to make sure that like Podcast Addict and all that stuff is updated, because I know lately
All that stuff didn't change. So all the
Okay.
feeds are the same, but like
Okay.
all, you know, the website, I had to rebuild all the code for it and like, you know, that whole 9 yards. But yeah, we're up and running. You can download. The episodes don't go all the way back to episode 1 anymore because I don't have those files.
Yeah.
But they do go back like 50 episodes or something like that. There's like, you know, a lot of hours, you know, whatever fucking, what, 50 times 3,
Right.
150 hours of podcast is there. So there's plenty of content. But yeah, we're back in business. Everything's up and running, and yeah, lots of shows coming at you guys. So
Alrighty.
you guys have
Cool.
a fantastic week. Zero, try to get some sleep and have a good day at work, sir.
Yep, yep.
And yeah, we will see you guys, if nothing else, back next weekend for another podcast. And then I know I'll be streaming a lot this week, so if you guys are on, feel free to drop in, and have a great week.
Have a good week.
All right.
Take care,
Later,
everybody.
guys.
Later.
Alrighty, guys. That is going to do it for the stream as well. I'm going to wrap things up here. And I'm going to get to bed. And we'll be up tomorrow. And we'll be doing some more streaming. So I will see you guys later.